A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. Now that Mary Noble is well along the road to complete recovery from the acid burns inflicted on her by jealous Claudia Vincent, her one thought is to join her husband, who is making a picture out in Hollywood. But wealthy Rupert Barlow, who is more wildly infatuated with Mary than ever, is doing his best to avoid this happy reunion. For some time, Rupert has had Larry shadowed by private detectives. And as soon as Larry became aware of this, Rupert sent him an anonymous letter indicating that it's Mary who is carrying on a secret investigation in order to gather evidence for a divorce. And so it's all the more bitter for Larry to receive letters regularly from Mary indicating that she is counting the hours until she can be with him again. Right now we find Mary in her house in Rosehaven, Long Island. It's early afternoon, and Rupert Barlow is lounging comfortably in the red leather chair that is Larry's particular favorite. And now, as Mary enters the room, we hear her say,
"Will you excuse me if I read this telegram, Rupert? It just came. It must be a message from Larry."
Oh, of course, Mary, my dear. Please don't let me stop you.
It's probably to tell me he'll be at the airport when my plane gets in. I deliberately chose one that wouldn't interfere with Larry's work.
Yes, and yet it sometimes is easier to get away from work than it is to beg off from other commitments.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean by that, Rupert. Just a minute while I see what Larry has to say.
You seem very certain it's from your husband, Mary. It must be wonderful to have such confidence in anyone. Even more wonderful to inspire it. I take it you're not mistaken, Mary. The telegram is from Larry?
Yes, it's from Larry.
You don't sound very cheerful about it. Isn't it what you expected to hear?
I can't figure it out, Rupert. I can't for the life of me understand why he sent me this message.
Well, of course, it's none of my business, Mary, but I can't help feeling concerned when you look like that, as though you'd lost your last friend.
I'm sorry if I seem to behave strangely, Rupert. But as a matter of fact, I do feel a little tired. Would you think it terribly rude if I asked you to excuse me?
Mary, wait a minute. Here, let me steady you in my arms.
Please, Rupert.
Be still, Mary, my darling. Why, you're trembling like a leaf. This is exactly what Dr. Allen warned you against, Mary, and what I've been hoping you could avoid. You mustn't allow yourself to be so upset.
I'm not. It's just that I need a little time to get used to the message.
Well, Mary, you know I don't mean to pry, my dear, but don't you think you need to talk this out with someone who understands you better than you may think?
There's nothing to talk out, Rupert. This is a very direct and short wire from Larry.
Well, that much I know, but its message has shaken you badly. Can you tell me why?
Because I've been too sure of my ground, too impulsive. I was so sure Larry would wire back an answer, rejoicing in my plan to fly to him in Hollywood.
I take it then that he hasn't showed the desired enthusiasm.
Oh, it's not that, Rupert. Larry says he's only concerned with my health and that he hates to put off our reunion.
But at the same time, Mary... Well, go on. I can imagine the rest.
Well, Larry feels that I ought to be very certain of myself, that I could stand this trip. And he thinks it would be far more sensible to wait for the time being.
Oh, my poor darling. If you had any idea of my anger and contempt for this husband of yours...
Don't say any more, Rupert. I've got to figure this out for myself. Larry isn't doing this to hurt me.
No? And what do you think motivates this message? Is it a great surge of unselfishness? Do you actually believe, Mary, even after you've read the gossip in Marty Rupert's column, that Larry Noble is spending all his time shut up in a dreary little hotel room out in Hollywood when he's not working?
I don't want to talk about it anymore, Rupert.
I'm sorry, my love. More sorry than I can tell you. Try to believe that you can count on me.
Oh, yes, I do believe that, Rupert,
And now what?
I don't know. I expect I'll have to cancel my plane ticket to Hollywood and content myself with waiting until a better time. Or perhaps Larry will finish making his picture fairly soon and come back home to me instead.
And you will be content to sit here and wait, eating your heart out?
Oh, Rupert, you're putting all this in a rather melodramatic light. After all, it's really quite a sensible message. If I hadn't insisted on rushing headlong across the country, even against Dr. Allen's advice, this wouldn't have happened. I have an idea that Larry has considered this very carefully.
I'm quite sure he has, Mary. At least I know one thing. It's fortunate for you that you didn't carry out your original plan to arrive without warning and surprise your husband.
I almost wish I had, Rupert. And Larry couldn't have been worried about me. I still think it would be quite all right. I wouldn't try to overdo. And I'd be so much happier being with Larry.
I think it's time for you to look squarely at the facts, Mary, my dear, much as it hurts you. Larry doesn't want you to come to Hollywood. It isn't a question of your health or how strong you are. It's a purely personal matter with him. Unfortunately, your husband finds himself romantically entangled with a beautiful young screen actress.
I don't believe that, Rupert. And it's hateful of you to even suggest it.
Well, it's even more hateful as a fact, my dear. Try to understand that. And remember that I am still going to stand by to help you through this bad time.
Oh, it's not necessary, Rupert. You're making far too much of a simple situation.
Well, it's useless to try to hide your feelings from me, Mary. I understand you too well and care far too much. Will you do me just one favor now before I leave you?
What is it?
Well, that's not a particularly trusting response.
I'm sorry. All I can say is I'll try. What were you going to ask?
Just that you reconsider my former invitation to you before you left the hospital. My boat is ready to leave at a moment's notice. Within 24 hours, we can be cruising in balmy southern waters.
But I told you, Rupert.
Mary, I only asked you to reconsider. You'd be well protected against any talk. Trust me to see to that. And with the presence of your nurse, Miss Clark, your health would be in safe hands. I know that the most romantic setting in the world can scarcely compensate you for being separated from this man you so doggedly cling to. But at least a trip on my yacht will benefit you in many ways, and perhaps help you to live through the next several weeks.
It's terribly generous of you, Rupert, but don't you see that...
Just think about it, my dear. That's all I ask. I'll invite anyone you wish to join us. Or if you prefer, I'll include a careful selection of my own close friends. Perhaps a complete change of scene and company will do more for you than you imagine it possible. You will consider it carefully?
Yes.
Good. Then I won't say any more. I believe you're beginning to realize that I'm right. I am, Mary. I'm entirely right about this. Try to believe that. Goodbye, my dear, for the present. I'll come for your answer tomorrow, if that's not too soon.
Mary Noble is speechless as Rupert Barlow leaves her. She fails to see the look of triumph on his face as he picks up his hat and coat in the hallway and leaves the house. Meantime, back in Hollywood, we find Larry Noble on a day off from his work at the Marco and Franklin studio. He's seated at the wheel of the car left him by his friend Tom Bryson when Tom went back east. And his companion on this drive is Dora Dean, the enthusiastic young movie actress who has been so eager for his company.
Gee, you're not very talkative today, Larry. Do you know that you haven't spoken a single word in the last 10 minutes?
What I have to say wouldn't make good listening, Dora. Matter of fact, in my present mood, I should never have persuaded you to come for a drive with me.
I'm awfully glad you did, just the same. I didn't know what to do today. I felt all kind of lost and restless. That's a heck of a way to feel when you get a day off, isn't it?
It's a heck of a way, all right. And it's even worse when you agree to spend some of those precious free hours with a person as irritable as I am today.
You don't think much of yourself today, do you, Larry?
No. I'm at an all-time low in personal vanity.
Well, it's lucky everybody doesn't feel the same way about you. Personally, I was tickled to death when you telephoned me a little while ago.
You're a nice kid, Dora. And you're doing me a great favor by putting up with me these days.
I told you how I feel about meeting you. It's been wonderful. I'll be just about sunk when we're through with this picture.
Oh, nonsense. You ought to give some of your worthwhile beaux a chance to spend some time with you, Dora.
I don't have anyone I care anything about. They're all so callow and childish, and anyhow, What's the matter, Larry? Why are you stopping the car here? Is something wrong?
I'm sorry, Dora. Wait here a minute. I'll be right back.
But where are you going?
I want to have a few words with that fellow who's been following us for the past half hour. I don't think he expected to be edged into the curb like this. But I think it's about time I put a stop to this nonsense.
Dora Dean watches anxiously through the rearview mirror as Larry Noble walks quickly toward the car that so unexpectedly was forced into the curb. Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
The Martian Death March.
I've always been interested in lost causes. The revolt of the Scottish Jacobites against England, the last stand of the Cherokee and Sioux Indians, and the death march of the Martian Highlanders in 1997. There's been a lot written about that march. The UN Commission report covers 4 volumes, but the whole story isn't down on paper yet. I know it because I was on that march from the beginning to the end. There's one part of the story that no one ever mentions. The Martian Death March of 97 was led by an Earthman. Maybe you've been over the route of the march. There wasn't any highway there 30 years ago in 97. There was desert, hot, burning desert. I lived at the edge of the Calmac Canal then with my father. He was a prospector searching the surrounding desert with sonar probe and Geiger counter, scratching just enough ore from under the Martian sands to pay for our grub stake the next year. I remember he was in the Adamson digger in the North Quadrant when I came running out that day.
There's somebody coming, Dad, across the desert.
You sure?
I saw them. They're a couple of miles out.
Well, how many cars?
They're on foot.
On foot across the desert?
Honest, Dad. I saw them.
Are you sure it wasn't a light reflection off the canal?
No. It was dark against the sand.
I don't like that. You run back and get the rifles out. I've got to pull the digger into the shed.
Is there going to be fighting, Dad?
I don't know. I got a whole year's ore piled out back in the bins, and I ain't going to lose it to no claim jumpers. You go back to the shack and break out those rifles and see they're loaded, you hear? And jump.
Dad had 3 surplus Army rifles and a couple of homemade grenades made out of ore cans stuffed with Adamson A explosives. We crouched inside the shack, waiting. The shadow of the water tower in the doorway grew longer as the quick Martian dusk settled down over the desert.
And there they come, Al. There's 2 of them.
What's that on the first one's back?
Why, I haven't seen one of those in 20 years.
What is it?
A one-man desert tank. They used to carry water that way before Adamson put out the air-still units.
There's something funny about that second one. Look, he's all spindly, and his head's funny.
He's funny, all right. Al, that's a Martian.
I never saw one off the reservation before.
Well, there hasn't been one, not in 10 years. I don't like this.
Here they come into the dooryard.
You remember what I told you. Line up the sights and just squeeze the trigger. Hello! Hello there!
Now, Dad?
Hello! Wait a minute. What do you want?
Water! I need water.
Who are you?
My name is John.
John, huh? What are you doing with that spider?
His name is Cantalcar.
I don't care what his name is. What's a human doing with a Martian?
I found him in the dry bed of Calmac Canal, nearly dead of thirst.
He probably ran off from the reservation.
When our brothers are caged, they seek freedom.
Brothers? Those spiders?
All living creatures are our brothers. On Mars, as on Earth.
Hey, wait a minute. Bert Ostrom at False Wells told me there was a screwball heads preacher over there hollering about letting the spiders loose off the reservations.
Let no man call his own. No man, nor tribe, nor nation.
I guess that's you, all right. Bert told me they called you Crazy John. I don't suppose there's any harm in you. Fill your tank up at the air still. And you can even have supper with us.
We would be happy to.
We? What do you mean, we?
Cantalcar and myself.
That spider? Oh, no, I ain't having a Martian sit down and eat with me. You come on, though.
Thank you, sir. No. Where my brother is not welcome, I cannot go.
Well, suit yourself. Al, get the key to the water tower. Come out here.
All right, Dad.
And put away the guns. We won't have any trouble from these two.
The old man filled his tank at the air-still tower, and the Martian went through the ash pile for half-burned fuel brick. When we went in the house for supper, I could see them silhouetted against the fire. The old man with his wild hair and beard, and the thin, spidery arms and legs of the Martian.
Dad.
What?
Are all the Martians on the reservation?
Yeah. All but a couple of wild ones in the mountains up north. The patrol catches a couple every year.
Why?
Well, they murder people.
No, I mean, why are they on the reservation?
Because it's the safest place to keep them. They're past us all.
How many are there?
Oh, I don't know. A few thousand. They keep dying off.
Why?
Well, they catch earth diseases. Chickenpox almost wiped out the whole gang of them 2 years ago.
Chickenpox? I had that. It didn't wipe me out.
You ain't a Martian.
I was born on Mars.
Well, I mean you ain't one of those spiders. Now eat your food. It'll get cold.
Okay. Dad.
Oh, what now?
Were the Martians always on the reservation?
Well, since the Outpost 3 massacre, they have been.
What was that?
Oh, back before you were born, they lived wild in the mountains up north.
Were they fierce?
Fierce enough. Only place for them spiders, behind wire.
Yeah, it sure is.
Out in the dooryard, the campfire flickered at the base of the water tower. The first of the Martian moons had set. The other wouldn't rise for several hours. I could hear the sandpeepers out in the desert as I stood there. The old man and the Martian were sitting on the ground, huddled close to the fire. It gets cold fast on the desert when the sun goes down.
Is that you, boy? You can come up to the fire if you like.
My dad wouldn't like it.
All right.
But I'm not afraid of no spider.
No, there is nothing to be afraid of.
How come his arms are all skinny?
Ask him.
Does he talk?
Yes, his name is Cantalcar.
It is, huh? Hello.
Hello, boy.
He talks funny.
It is not my language.
Why isn't he on the reservation? You can get in trouble helping spiders to escape.
No man has the right to imprison the innocent. They that are enslaved will be freed. They that are in sickness and misery will be comforted. They that are exiled in a strange place will be restored.
My dad says that spiders are treacherous, cowardly, murdering savages. That's what he says.
Boy, there was a time on this world when there were no earthmen, when the ships and the machinery of earth were unknown. Then the people of the highlands lived in peace. But today they are a handful, starving, dying behind the wire.
But the reservation isn't so bad.
Our home is in the mountains of the north, not the desert.
I heard a voice which cried out to me in the desert, "Go to your brothers."
Do they really call you Crazy John?
I have been called many things.
You really think we ought to let those old spiders off the reservation?
Boy, we die here in the desert. We die in the sun and of the sicknesses you have brought from Earth.
That's 'cause Martians are just weak. I'll bet I could knock you down myself.
You could. We are a different people. We have not the strength of muscle of Earthmen. But we will not stay here to die.
You won't get off the reservation. The patrol takes care of all that. They won't let any stinking old spiders out.
Even in the minds of children is planted the poison of evil. How long?
That night through the window, I could see the flicker of the old man's campfire. He was walking up and down now, shouting, singing hymns, verse after verse, his white beard catching the light as he passed behind the fire. The Martian sat slumped over, his thin, spindly arms folded across the huge barrel chest that had developed over the centuries as the air of Mars thinned and escaped into space. In the morning, I looked out, and they were gone. Looking back now, we wonder how they did it. The high-voltage wire around the reservation carried a fatal charge. The patrolman in the tower had 50-caliber machine guns. The desert around the camp was mined heavily. Yet, at dawn, August 7th, 1997, they broke out. I was down at the dried-up canal bed hunting sandpeepers when my father came running after me.
Al! Al!
Here I am.
Come on, back to the house.
What's the matter, Dad?
You shut up and run.
What is it?
The spiders busted loose. Bert Olstrom radioed in.
They coming here?
They're headed this way, the murdering devils.
They kill anybody?
6 patrolmen when they busted through the wire.
What are you going to do, Dad?
Fire a keg of Adamson A across the gate. You get in there and get the guns out.
I got the rifles and shoved a full clip in each one. Then I slipped a primer fuse on the homemade grenades and lugged them out to the porch. Dad was running lead wires back to a detonator from a half keg of Adamson A he'd set across the gate.
There. That's it. Now give me one of those rifles.
Will they be here soon?
You can see the dust over the rise. Murdering spiders.
What'll they do?
I don't know. Now make sure you get a good sight, Al. Don't waste any bullets.
There they are, Dad. There they come.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up now. I want to get a good shot. Let him get closer.
Dad, that's Crazy John up in front. There. He's taller than the spiders. You can see his beard.
You're right. Oh, that renegade rat. He probably helped them break out of the reservation. Listen, Al. If anything happens to me, you ride out back to the shed. You can hide out in the empty ore bins till they go away. Now, you got that?
All right, Dad.
We're going to come in.
The spider's shouting something, Dad.
Probably a trick. Get down a little, Al. You're in the way. I got him clear now. Right in the head. Up a little now. Got him. Got him, Al.
Dad, look out. They've got guns.
Down. Get down.
Oh. Dad.
Get out, Al. Get out to the shed.
Dad, you're hit.
Go on. Those spiders are going to rush. Now get going.
No, I can't let you.
I want to get out of here. You hear? Get out.
I ran back through the house to the shed. Behind me, I could hear the Martians sweeping up to the dooryard. Then suddenly the ground shook, and I could feel the dull concussion waves hit my ears as the Adamson A exploded. I could hear the high, whispered screams of the Martians and the rattle of fragments on the metal roof of the shed. I dived into the empty ore bin and slammed the hatch almost shut. I sat there waiting. And then suddenly a shadow fell across the edge of light, and the hatch slid open on top of me.
You leave me alone. I'll kill you.
Boy, I've been looking for you.
Where's my dad? What did you do to my dad?
He's dead.
You killed him. You and those spiders. I'll kill you. I'll kill all those stinking murdering spiders.
They are our brothers, boy. Your father shot without warning, and the fire was returned against my orders.
You mean you weren't going to attack us?
Our brothers came in peace. They are going home to their mountains. We came to get water for the journey.
You mean you just wanted water? Yeah. Dad!
John, the Earth Patrol will be following us soon.
We must go.
And the boy?
We'll have to leave him here with water and supplies.
No. The Earth Patrol would question him. We need the time. He goes with us.
They tore the Adamson air still from the tower and mounted it on poles. They piled our supplies in the yard and loaded them on their backs. And then they started. I marched with the old man at the head, and the column stretched out behind us on the desert. I turned to look back at our house, but the sun was behind it, blinding red. The old man pulled me around as he marched, his eyes fixed on the horizon, where far to the north rose the cool mountains that were the ancient home of the Highlanders. 14 of the Martians died the first day. They dropped to the side of the column when they could go no farther, and died. But the march went on. On the 5th day, we swung wide to avoid a mining settlement, but not wide enough. The miners were in ambush behind a pile of rocks.
I shall lead them home. Home to the promised rest. Home to the mountains. March forward! March forward!
And the march went on. We wound across the desert in wild zigzags, following the paths the old man had traveled through the years. Only once a patrol plane hovered on the horizon, and then shot away. The days went on, the weeks, and the Martians died. They died of exhaustion. They died of the diseases we had given. And they died of thirst. The Adamson still could produce 27 units of water an hour, no more. And on that, they died of thirst.
Here, boy, here's your water.
But that's more than the others got.
Take it.
It's yours. You're giving me your water.
It will be provided to me. He that brings justice to his brothers will drink deep of the water of righteousness. He that... Drink your water, boy.
Across the desert, from the Kalmak Canal to Fever Dip, past the towering mesas of the Higgins Badlands, across the dry sea bottoms they marched. On the 54th day of the march, we halted at evening. The air was thinner, colder now. The rations had long since been exhausted. I lay down to sleep, wrapped in the old man's coat. Early in the morning, before sunrise, I woke suddenly. The ground mist that had covered the desert the night before was lifting slowly. I saw the old man standing by the burned-out fire, the vapor swirling around his legs in the cold light of the false dawn, edging his wild beard.
Go back to sleep, boy.
I can't.
The end is near. I have led them through the wilderness, dry shod across the seas, and before us lie the mountains.
You mean we're almost there?
When the mist is taken from the eyes of man, the place of refuge can be seen.
You mean the mountains? It's over. We're there.
I have led them to their home, and I must go back to the desert.
You mean alone?
Even now, I hear a voice in the wind. Carry the message to the men of earth. Bring to this new world the message of the old. All beings created in the universe are my brothers, and he that harms my brother harms me. Goodbye. Goodbye, boy. You'll be safe now.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye.
The Martians found him 500 yards from the camp, dead. Now the mist rose, and before us towered the highlands, the tall green mountains and the cool sky. The march was over. Of the 7,000 Martians who started, 900 were alive. They gathered now on the rise of ground and faced the hills. Their thin bodies wavered as they stood, and some dropped to the ground as they stood there. But there was a light of hope in their large, staring eyes. Most of them had died, but they had died on the way home. And now the march was over. Then the patrol planes were spotted on the horizon, and within 10 minutes they had landed. The Martians stood silently as the squads piled out and set up the 50 caliber machine guns and the petroleum gel flamethrower.
All right, you spiders. Hands up and stay together. Gather in a bunch and don't try anything. Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Shoot the first spider that moves. And shoot to kill. All right, where's that boy? There was a boy reported.
Here I am.
You all right, kid? They hurt you?
No, I'm all right. John gave me his water ration.
Oh, the leader, huh? Well, I've got a warrant for him. Where is he?
There. He's dead.
Huh? Oh. Well, just as well. I'd hate to be him in front of a settler's jury.
What are you going to do to them?
The spiders? See those transport planes coming in? We're going to ship them all back to the reservation where they belong.
You can't. You can't do that.
What are you talking about, kid?
You can't take them back. They're home. John said they were home. You can't take them back. It isn't fair. I won't let you.
No,
I won't let you. I won't let you.
Hey, let go of me. Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Peel this crazy kid off me.
All right, now, kid, take it easy. I must be shot. Can't believe he's safe.
Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, you spiders, step it up. Move along to those transport planes. It's all over now. You're headed right back to the reservation.
They separated them in groups of 50 and loaded them on the planes. 900 out of 7,000. And soon the first big-bellied ships waddled out on the hard sands and lifted slowly into the air, headed back to the south, flying over the trail of dead and dying who started on the march to the highlands, the march to home.
Don't worry about them spiders, kid. We'll take care of them. Come on now, kid. You'll feel better as soon as you get back to civilization.
I looked once more at the green mountains towering through the mist. And then, just before the motor raced, I saw John. Crazy John propped up against a dognut bush where the Martians had placed him. The wind from the south gave the wild hair and beard a rippling life. He faced the hills, the home and rest he had promised his brothers, as he led them through the wilderness of Mars.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, Adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Chain of Command by Stephen R.
This is about George. He's a friend of mine. Lives right here at the Brookside Atomic Laboratory with his family. My name is Charlie Boyle, by the way. I'm a security guard here at the lab. Been here now for, 20 years, I guess. Of course, they don't use the lab anymore. Lots of weeds and things, and, I stick around. There isn't really any place to go. Oh, well, I'm getting away from it after all. This is about George. Some of it I know myself. A lot of it he told me after it was over. It began, it began the morning after George's wife lit into him.
I think, George, the least you could do is complain. After all, are you a mouse or a man?
Clara, what's the point of complaining? It'll just start trouble.
We do live at the laboratory. We have some rights.
The best thing we can do is just stay right where we are.
But it's dangerous.
There's nothing dangerous about it, just so long as we know what we're doing.
I'm not thinking about us. I'm thinking about the children.
The children know where they mustn't go.
George, I will not go on like this without a moment's peace of mind. If you had the slightest concern for my welfare or for the children's, you'd...
All right. I'll go talk to old Charlie, the security guard.
Why not talk directly to the superintendent?
Because of the complications. Now, I promise you I'll explain the situation to Charlie. He knows me. I've talked to him for over a year now.
And he hasn't the slightest influence.
I'll impress the seriousness of the situation on him.
All right, but do it now.
I will.
And be firm.
I'll be as firm as I can.
I was at my desk in the hallway. The place was deserted. I've always worked the night shift, except for my supervisor, Mr. Adams, who was in his office down the hall working late. I remember I was sort of dozing off when I heard George's voice in my ear.
Charlie.
Hmm?
It's me, George.
Oh, yes, George. Yeah, how are you?
Fine. Can I have a chat with you?
Chat away. I got all night.
Good. It's about the trap.
The trap?
The one outside our door.
Oh, that trap.
Clara, my wife, says it's dangerous.
Well, now,
she'd like it removed.
Removed? Oh, no, George. That can't be done.
Regulations?
Regulations.
Suppose you just removed it without telling anybody.
Oh, they'd fire me, George.
I see. Clara's afraid one of the kids might get hurt.
Oh.
How about taking it up with the supervisor?
Mr. Adams?
Why not?
Well, it never occurred to me.
Why not give it a try?
Oh, I don't know. Mr. Adams doesn't even know you exist.
Maybe it's time he found out.
Well, it might get a bit sticky.
Give it a try.
Well,
come on, Charlie. Be a good fellow. Haven't we been buddies for a long time?
Oh, we've been buddies, all right, but... Well, when it comes to something like
Will
this...
you try at least? Clara isn't going to let me alone unless something happens.
Okay, George. I'll give it a try. I straightened my tie and I brushed off my uniform real neat and I went into Mr. Adams' office. I could see the light under his door and I hear him on the phone, so I knew he was there.
Edgar? Adams up at Brookside Lab. Uh-huh. How are things in Washington? No, nothing serious. Just want to have a fingerprint check on one of our scientists. Uh-huh. Yeah, number 7X4582. That's right. How's the missus? Good. Now, excuse me a minute, will you? Somebody at the door. Come in. Oh, hello, Charlie. Edgar, can I call you back? Fine. Yeah, what is it, Charlie?
I'd like a word with you, Mr.
Well, look, Charlie, I'm on the phone to Washington. Is it a security matter?
Oh, on the way, Mr. Adams.
Well?
I don't know how to tell you, really.
Well, just tell me.
Well, sir, there's a mouse named George down in room 412 who doesn't want the trap outside his door.
Well, that's just too... What?
A mouse in room 412. He objects to the trap.
Look, Charlie, I'm busy. Is this a joke or something?
Oh, well, I guess maybe it is.
I mean, I like a good joke as well as the next fellow, Charlie, but... Well, I mean, it's late and I got a lot of work to do. Do you mind...
No, Mr. Adams.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You just get back to your desk, huh?
Okay, Mr. Adams.
And Charlie,
yes, sir. Yes.
Next time one of the mice complains, tell him to come in here and speak to me himself.
Yes, sir.
Edgar Adams here again. I'm sorry. One of the security guards playing a little joke on me. He came in to say one of the mice here at the lab is complaining about the trap outside his door. You got him down Washington, too, huh? Yeah? What do you do about it? Traps, huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's the only way, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I went back to my desk. George was there, waiting. I could tell by his expression that he knew the answer before he even asked me.
No soap, huh, Charlie?
No soap, George.
I guess I'll have to tell Clara.
Yeah, I'm sorry, George.
What'd he say?
Well, he said if you've got a complaint, see him yourself.
He said that, huh?
Yeah. Of course, I didn't know what was going to happen. George didn't tell me till it was all over. I mean, really all over. And then it was too late for me to do anything. It turned out, though, that Clara, that's George's wife, told him that if he didn't go talk to Mr. Adams, she'd up and leave him. Yeah, leave him. And the kids, too. So him and me, we went.
And nothing negative on his record, eh, Edgar? Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, excuse me a minute. Come in. Oh, what is it this time?
Excuse me, Mr. Adams. It's that mouse. He wants to talk to you.
I'll call you back, Edgar. Now, look, Charlie, I mean, this has gone far enough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What the devil you got in your hand?
Well, this is him, sir. It's the mouse I was telling you about. George. Yeah, George. This is Mr. Adams, the security supervisor.
How do you do?
Huh?
How do you do?
Ventriloquism, huh, Charlie? Pretty good.
Oh, it ain't ventriloquism, Mr. Adams. He talks.
Yeah, sure he does. Well, look, now you had your little joke, and I got a lot of work to do.
I'd like a word with you.
What? That's remarkable. It really... Now, look,
George,
you don't...
George, suppose I just leave you here and step outside.
That might be best.
Excuse me, Mr. Adams.
No, wait, you can't leave that beast in here.
He won't take much of your time.
But, hold it. Leaving a mouse on my desk.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, of course. What?
I said, can you hear me? Some people have trouble.
I'm going out of my mind. It's a hallucination.
No, sir, a mouse.
Listen, what are you?
A mouse. You know, cheese, rodents, all that sort of thing.
Do you mind if I touch you?
Okay, but take it easy. Careful, don't bend up the whiskers.
You're real.
Sure I'm real. Now, listen, about that trap.
The trap?
My wife is driving me goofy. Get it away from our front door, will you?
Your front door, yes. Yes, of course, Are you sure you exist?
I could bite you to prove it.
Never mind.
What about it?
What about what?
The trap.
The trap. Yes, of course. Well, I mean, it's a security problem. Look, would you do me a favor?
It depends.
Tell me, how come you talk?
Simple. My ancestors have been around this lab since it was built. We've gotten a lot of gamma radiation, a couple of them were used as an experiment to test radiation endurance. There were surgical operations, grafts of human brain tissue to mouse brain tissue to check the effects of the rays on human brains and so on. You follow me?
Wait a minute. I remember there were some experiments where human brain tissue was placed in a mouse and then exposed.
That's it. Those mice, the ones that survived, were my great-grandparents.
Holy smokes.
So what about the trap? I mean, we're nice, peaceful mice. We don't bother anybody. We don't eat much. We mind our own business.
Wait a minute. You say your great-grandparents were the first of this talking line? I mean, are there many of you?
3 generations, Mac. That's a lot of mice.
Tell me, have you talked to anybody besides me?
Well, I talked to Charlie.
No, I mean besides Charlie.
I tried it with a couple of guys. They wouldn't listen.
These others, what do you call them, your relatives, have they talked to anybody? Tell me.
How should I know? I suppose they've talked to dozens of people.
Where are these people they've talked to?
The mental hospitals are full of them. It's a problem, see. We can talk to kids and, the odd ones, but anybody else, they get scared.
Uh-huh.
So what do I tell Clara about the trap?
Clara?
My wife, Clara.
Oh, well, it's a security problem. I think I'll have to take it up with Washington.
Okay, take it up.
Yeah, I'll dictate a memo first thing in the... No, I won't. They'll think I've flipped.
Okay, I'll tell Clara.
Now, wait a minute. Let me make a phone call. Sooner or later, this thing has got to be dealt with. Edgar Adams at Brookside. Now, Edgar, old man, we have just encountered a rather unusual security problem here at the plant. Yes. No, nothing like that. Mice. Yes. Talking mice. No, Edgar, it is not a joke. I know we were joking a while ago, but it turns out there are talking mice here. Edgar, listen. Please, Edgar, will you listen? I'll put one of them on the phone. Now, listen, would you just talk, please?
What'll I say?
Just say anything. His name is George.
Hello? This is George. I'm trying to get the authorities to remove the trap from in front of my... What?
Yeah, let me have it, will you? Edgar, listen, I am not kidding, and I have not gone mad. This is on the level. In my office at this moment, there is a mouse who talks. In this top-secret atomic laboratory, there are several hundred such mice, for all I know. Look, Edgar, you don't believe me, and I don't expect you to believe me. No, I don't want a vacation. Good night, Edgar. He doesn't believe me.
We keep running into this all the time.
George, are you really interested in doing something about that trap?
Have you ever met my wife? Oh, of course you haven't.
Wait a minute, I got it. I'm going to call for a top-level security conference at the Pentagon. George, will you come down there with me? Will you? We won't say a word. We'll just appear.
Washington?
First-class accommodations. We'll get you the best suite in town. You like cheese?
Do I like cheese? Can you get provolone down there?
Get what?
Provolone.
We'll get it. All the provolone you can eat.
I've never traveled before.
George, you'll love it. Chance to get away from the wife for a while, huh? What do you say, boy? You and me, huh? We'll live it up down there. Look, I know a couple of girls. I seem to recall they had mice in their pantry.
I don't know. I'll have to talk to Clara.
Look, tell her it's the only way to get action on the trap. Make it sound big, you hate to go away from her, but it's for the kid. What do you say, pal, huh?
Well, okay.
Attaboy. Operator, get me chief of security at the Pentagon. Make it fast. This is an emergency.
I wasn't there, but like I say, George told me all about it after it was over. Seems him and Mr. Adams went down to Washington on a morning plane. George got a little plane sick, but he liked flying pretty good anyway. They checked in at the Statler, then went over to the Pentagon.
Order, gentlemen, order. As a chief, I hereby convene the meeting. It's been called as a Priority A emergency session by Mr. Adams, who, as you know, is security chief at our Brookville Atomic Laboratories. Mr. Adams?
Yes, thank you, Chief. Now, gentlemen, it may come as a shock to all of you. It did to me. that I've learned that some 1,200 English-speaking individuals have been operating freely within our top-secret laboratories at Brookville without any security clearance whatsoever.
You did say 1,200?
Actually, sir, 1,207.
Who are these people, sir?
Mice, Chief.
Mice?
Yes, sir, mice. I have one of them here with me. Somewhere. George.
Here.
George. Oh, there you are. George, would you just mind stepping to the center of the table?
Right.
Gentlemen, this is George.
How do you do?
Well, this is most remarkable.
George is the result of an experiment conducted some years ago in which bits of human brain tissue were grafted into live mice to test radiation effects.
And there are 1,200 of these inside the lab?
1,207.
Without security clearance?
Without security clearance.
Oh. Well. Sir, Mouse?
Call me George.
George? George, tell me what you know.
My wife wants the trap removed from our front door. She thinks it's dangerous for the children.
Has she been cleared?
Quiet, General.
Well, a major lapse of security.
I'm aware of the lapse, General.
What about the trap?
I refuse to countenance any act that will aid the entrance of more of these spies and saboteurs into the plant.
Who's a spy? I'm a mouse.
Tell me, have you overheard any conferences?
Maybe a few.
Seen any documents?
My kids play in the secret document file. It's the safest place in the lab.
Have you yourself ever seen any papers marked top secret?
Seen them? Heck, I've eaten them.
I believe this calls for some action, gentlemen.
Mr. Adams, if you and this rodent will retire to the next room, I think we'll have a brief caucus.
Yes, George.
Okay.
Yes, see you later, gentlemen.
Listen, what about the provolone?
Never mind.
Well, I think we should try to forget for the moment that these creatures are mice and deal with them as security problems.
Concur.
Now then, the first question is one of loyalty.
I raise a question at this point.
General?
Are these American mice?
Well, I assume that...
Well, but do we know?
You have a point, sir. Perhaps we ought to get immigration in on this.
Immigration? I'd say extermination.
Before we do anything rash, General, I think we ought to learn more about these creatures, who they are, what their habits are, their loyalties, how much they know.
Suppose this George creature won't tell us.
We'll have to use every trick in the book. Now, I would suggest we first try the velvet glove. The full treatment.
George told me about the velvet glove later. He said he didn't really suspect anything at first, what with all the excitement of being in Washington and so on, but after a while he got wind of what they were doing.
Room service. This is Mr. Adams in 712. Will you please send up a pound of
provolone?
Provolone, please. Cheese. Yes, and some more wine. Yes, fine. Right away, please. They'll have some more right away, George.
Can't get enough of this stuff. Really delicious.
George, have a little more wine.
I don't mind if I do. This is the life, all right.
It's a great town, isn't it, George?
Stupendous.
By the way, George, those documents you mentioned eating, do you remember what they said?
Something about nuclear weapons. Listen, Adam, what about those girls you mentioned, the ones who had mice in their pantry?
Oh, yes.
How about giving them a call?
Well, George, a little late, don't you think?
Oh, the night's just beginning.
All right, George, I'll give him a little call. 6. Yeah, my memory serves. Hello, Gail. My memory serves. Bob Adams. Hi, just down on a quick business trip. Uh-huh. How tricks, Gail? No, not a thing. By the way, did you still have mice? Mice. Yeah. You what? You exterminated? Oh, I see. Uh-huh. No. I don't think I'll have time this trip. I just wanted to call you up, say hello. Yeah, maybe next trip. Fine, my dear. So long.
What'd she say?
Unfortunately, the superintendent has a cat.
I see. Wiped out?
Wiped out.
That's something I want to take up with my congressman before we leave town.
We'll do that, George. George, have another sip of wine.
You don't mind if I do?
That's it. Now then, George, about those documents.
Oh, you stop about documents. I thought we were in town for a good time.
We are.
Well, round up a couple of mice, man, and let's get with it.
Mice, I'll tell you what, George. You wait here. I'll go out and I'll see what I can do, okay?
Okay, but make it snappy, huh? I'm raring to go.
Next morning, Adams woke George and told him they were scheduled for another conference at the Pentagon.
George, wake up, huh?
Oh, what a head.
Come on, George. We're due at the Pentagon.
Easy. Don't talk so loud. Wow. Where did you get those white mice last night?
Over at the National Research Lab.
Ooh. They must have been feeding those girls wheat germ.
All right, come on, George. Come on. You can sober up in the taxi. Come on.
All right, George. We've been beating around the bush long enough. Who are you?
I've told you, I'm a mouse. My name is George. I live in a hole at the Brookville Atomic Laboratory.
We know all that. We want to know who's behind you.
Nobody's behind me. Listen, you guys don't have to be afraid of me. I'm only a mouse.
It's the perfect fifth column. The ultimate weapon.
Do you realize that you and your family are living inside a secret government installation without any security clearance whatsoever?
I'm willing to be investigated.
How do we know you aren't an agent for a foreign power?
How do we know you aren't an agent for a foreign power?
Preposterous.
It'd be the perfect fifth column.
Gentlemen, I will not remain here to be insulted by this creature.
And I will not be insulted by you, sir. Gentlemen, good day.
No, George, wait, come back.
George, he went that way.
Get him up. George.
He's going into the wall.
Grab him.
Too late. He's gone.
No, men, this is it. We'll have to decide on a course of action. We've got to recapture him.
Look, I think the first thing to do is get a cat.
He's too smart for a cat.
Well, something's got to be done.
Something's got to be done.
After all, these creatures have access to every secret file in the country.
Not to mention eavesdropping on our private lives.
The thing that bothers me is, gentlemen, they multiply in another 3 generations. There will be some 12 billion talking mice, 6 times the human population of the Earth.
It's no matter for fooling around. Kill or be killed, gentlemen.
The problem there is how.
We have reason to believe they're concentrated in Brookville. I say evacuate all humans and blow up the plant. Use the H-bomb if necessary.
I'm afraid you're right, General. We must exterminate.
I'll phone Strategic Air Command and alert them. SAC, please. Hello, Bell. This is Ed. Listen, fuel up a couple of big ones. No, nothing serious, but we may want to use them in the near future. Just stand by, that's all.
I'll call chemical warfare, get the best information on exterminating rodents. Hello? Hello? That's funny. It's gone dead. Hello? Hello? Something is wrong here. Sounds almost as if the line had been cut. Adams, got an alarm for that mouse.
Well, that was only the beginning, of course. Things began to happen pretty fast right after that. You bet your sweet satchel they did.
Well, Adams?
Yeah, I've been talking to Edgar. The FBI has located several hundred field mice, all of them non-talking. No trace of a mouse corresponding to our description of George. Team of Secret Servicemen been combing the Pentagon and the White House. We've got 1,500 traps baited with imported provolone in the Senate chambers alone. So far, no luck.
And what about cats?
The American feline fanciers have volunteered 100 Mausers.
Oh, good. Any more telephone wires cut?
I'm afraid so, Chief, yes. He managed to gnaw through the private wire from the president's suite to the Pentagon.
Oh, I see. We've got it spliced. What about the top secret file on that new chemical warfare agent? Is there any trace of that?
They found the file, but he managed to chew out the key symbols. I'm afraid it's useless.
Well, keep tracking him down.
Yes,
Sooner
sir.
or later, we'll get him.
Yes, sir. Only one thing,
Well, what's
sir.
that?
I hate to mention it, really.
Well, go on, man.
Well, sir, the damage has appeared in such widespread places recently.
Well, go on.
Well, there must be more than just George. In fact, we're afraid he has reinforcements right here in Washington.
But that's impossible. How?
I don't know how, sir, unless...
Unless what?
Unless... Well, it seems, sir, that there were a couple of female white mice from the National Research Lab.
You mean?
Yes, sir. I'm afraid so, sir.
I guess maybe you know the rest. Within a couple of weeks, every cable, telephone line, power line, every telegraph line in the United States had been cut. Also the wires on every plane, tank, train, and ship. They'd also destroyed every file in the country. That was only a month ago. Well, you can guess what's happened. Most everybody has left this part of the world. In this whole atomic laboratory, I'm the only human. And I'm not so sure I'll be around much longer. Yes, sir? The only woman. Not that they need a security guard, but, well, I'm just used to being here. I wouldn't know where to go.
Charlie.
Why, George. George, is it you?
That's right, Charlie.
Well, you look awful. Where have you been?
Well, I was down in Washington, Charlie. About the traps, remember?
Oh, yeah. That was before all the trouble started, over 2 months ago. Well, what you been doing all this time?
Well, you know, we've been pretty busy protecting ourselves, cutting the lines and stopping transportation and such.
I figured it was the mice done it, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't like it, but it was them or us, so we did it.
Well, how come you look so terrible, though?
Well, we stopped the trains and the planes, you know, so... Well, I had to walk back. That's one heck of a walk for a mouse.
Like I said, this is about George.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
At last, Johnson on the Gregory boat is nearing the Magic Island. But Johnson will arrive at the island as a prisoner and not a rescuer. Jerry and Joan were ordered to go in the Euclidean submarine and aid in the capture of Johnson's boat, while the captain and Mrs. Gregory have seen and heard all that took place in the submarine through the wonderful prism reflectors in G-47's control chambers. The submarine is towing the Johnson boat, which has run out of fuel. They are only a few miles from Euclidia, the Magic Island. Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford are now back on their captive yacht, inside a lock in the submerged island. The alarm gong on the island has been ringing, and Mrs. Gregory and Tex are trying to learn the meaning of the signals.
There it is again, Tex. The same signal we heard before.
Yes, Pat, but the last time we heard it meant to standby stations. Then they submerged this island.
Well?
The island's all the way down now. The surface of it is 40 feet below the water level. They can't submerge it anymore.
Just the same, there's the signal. Oh, Tex, I'm getting so worried down here in this dark lock. It was better in G-47's control room. At least we could see and hear what was going on. And we knew that Joan and Jerry were all right in that submarine.
Jerry and Joan are all right, whether we watch them or not.
Is this radio all right now?
It works fairly well, but it wouldn't be a good idea for us to try sending with it.
I didn't mean that, Tex. Just so it works well enough that we can hear Johnson if he talks to Jerry in the submarine.
Poor Johnson. I'll bet his face was a study when that sub picked up his bow anchor with a magnet and started to tow him to this island.
Doesn't it seem strange to you that Johnson hasn't sent any message since that?
I don't think so. There's nothing for him to send one about. It's just the end of a good try on his part, and he's failed. I imagine he doesn't feel a whole lot like talking to anyone.
Tex, 4 strokes of the alarm gong. That should mean the 4th level. The island's going up again.
I think you're right, Pat. That must mean that the battleships are all safely out of the way. Johnson's boat is near enough that they're getting the island out of the water so the submarine can land the captive boat at one of the piers.
Then Joan and Jerry will be back with us again. I won't care much what happens if I can only keep them near me all the time.
Yes, and once I get Johnson on this island with the materials he has on that boat, it shouldn't take us long to figure a way out of this.
But G-47 will take the materials away from you the minute the boat lands.
Oh, will you quit worrying so much, Pat? We'll get off this island if it takes a year. Now, just try to take it easy and leave the rest to me.
The 3rd level, Tex. We're really going to get up out of this awful dark at last.
Looks like it. I hope they let us take the yacht back out into the open water between the piers again. I don't like this living in a hole underwater myself.
That's right. G-47 may not want the yacht outside again.
I don't think he'll object to that. Doesn't look much like we'd run away with a broken mast and these smashed cabin roofs.
And will we be allowed to remain on the yacht?
G-47 said we could. He hasn't room for us to live on the island and no time to build quarters for us.
Remember that the aerial is broken, and when the anchor leaves the floor of this steel lock, the radio won't work anymore.
Well, just as soon as we get outside in the open air again, I'll fix up an aerial fast enough. 2nd level, huh? Things sure move on this island.
Only another minute or two, and the top of the island will be out of the water.
Yes, and if we don't hear from G-47 pretty soon about getting this yacht out of this lock, I'll go and ask him.
And that's probably G-47 now.
I suppose it is. Come in.
Oh, well, Skipper, come in.
And close the door. Island. What about the island? Rising.
Yes, Skipper, we know. The island will soon be out of the water.
Have you heard whether we're to be allowed to take the yacht out of this lot?
Yep.
We are to be allowed to take it out?
Aye.
How did you find out this?
The 1st level. Then the steel control chambers on the surface are coming out of the water now. We'll soon be out.
Aye. Did G-47 tell you we could take the yacht back out?
Yep.
Has he been down here on this boat talking to you?
Aye.
Funny he didn't call on us, isn't it, Tex?
Will.
He's on the boat now?
Aye.
Well, what's he doing here?
Looking.
Looking at what, Skipper?
Anchor.
What's he looking at our anchor for?
Radio.
Oh, of course, Tex. He's figured out that the broken aerial wires mixed up in the anchor chain have given us a good aerial.
Yeah, and he's probably doing something to it right now, so it won't be any good. Send him in here, Skipper, will you?
Aye.
And don't tell him you've told us he's on board.
Aye.
So, the old boy's been sneaking around out there on the deck looking things over.
I wouldn't worry too much about that, Tex. He told the skipper we could take the yacht out and anchor it in open water again.
Well, I hope it's right away, then. I've got a notion something's going to happen before very long.
This will be G-47.
Yeah. Come in.
Oh, G-47. Come in, won't you?
Oh, thank you.
We've been wondering if you wouldn't pay us a visit before long. The island seems to be rising again, and we'd like to take the yacht back outdoors, if you don't mind.
Oh, you will be allowed to take the yacht out again. It will make Mr. Johnson feel more at home to be welcomed by his friends.
Yeah, some welcome. One prisoner welcoming another to jail.
Never mind that now, Tex. Will Johnson's boat be brought in at Pier 5? Will it lie near us?
I think that will be advisable. Then, when the time comes for the destruction of these boats, it will be simpler if they are in contiguous slips.
Destroy them?
Steady, Pat. I expected that remark.
The lock gates are opening now, if you care to listen.
Oh, Tex, listen. The gates are open. The water levels and the locks are evening up.
Sounds good to me. I've had enough of this dark lock.
Tex, look, the portholes. You can see the daylight even back here in this lock.
Now, the magnets are beginning to actuate this craft. We will soon be in the outer slip.
J-12C, Jerry Hall on Euclidean submarine to J-12C. Hello, J-12C. Hello, Johnson.
There's Jerry in the sub.
Oh, it's good to hear him again.
Silence. We must hear this.
Hello, Johnson. Hello. Calling J-12C. What's the matter, Johnson? We have not been able to raise your boat since we started towing you. Have important orders for landing your boat at Euclidia when we cut loose our magnets at the island.
advise Johnson there is every possibility his boat will be wrecked on the island if he does not acknowledge and carry out these special orders.
J12C. Hello, J12C. This is emergent. Answer at once.
Will this transmitter work, Captain?
It will if your magnetic ring doesn't stop the beam.
It will not. Break Hall at once. Try to speak Johnson. Hurry. The time is precious.
Right. Break it, Hall. Break it, Jerry. Bradford on J24Y, calling Johnson on J12C. Let me have it, Jerry. I will now send from the yacht to Johnson. Special orders. G47 on board yacht. Let me have it, Jerry.
Okay, Tex. Hello to Yacht. All okay here. Go ahead, Tex. I can't raise Johnson. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jerry. Hello, Johnson. Bradford to J12C. Hello, J12C.
Something must have happened to Johnson's radio.
You will continue, Captain.
Right. J24Y to Johnson on J12C. Hello, Johnson. This is important. Can you hear me? Your boat is in danger of being wrecked against the steel artificial island unless you talk to the commander of the submarine who is towing you. Get her instructions before she casts your anchor off her magnetic towing fin. J12C, calling J12C.
What can be the matter, Tex?
Hello, Bradford. Oh. Hello. Can you get me?
Oh, Tex, it's all right.
Hey, Tex. I got Johnson here. Can you hear him?
Yes, I got him, kid. Let me have the channel now. Hello, Johnson. Getting you fine. What happened? No message from you for so long.
Sorry, Captain. My set has been dead. Was not advised we would be towed by magnets, and they paralyzed the set. When I heard the word magnet very faintly, I set about making a crude shield for the set. Okay now. What's the order?
Tell him to take his orders from the commander of the submarine.
Hello, Jerry. J24Y to Jerry Hall on submarine. Hello, Sub.
Okay, Tex. Go ahead.
G47 authorizes me to tell you commander of sub is to give orders directly to Johnson. That all, G47?
Have the commander advise me speed and distance from island.
Commander, Bradford to S1.
Yes, proceed, Captain Bradford.
Will you give orders to Johnson, then report to G47 on your position and speed?
Very good. S1 to Johnson. S1 calling J12C.
Go ahead, S1. Johnson on J12C. Ready, S1. Go ahead.
We are 15 knots from island. Stand by when within 1 knot of island. I will cut magnets off. You will be released directly opposite opening in the slip you are to use. Have you auxiliary power on board to take yourself in? Last few hundred yards. Reply.
Johnson to submarine commander. Have small electric motor. Should be good for 2 miles or more. Uncharged. Now in batteries. What about this island slip? Have received some wild messages supposedly from there. Is island surrounded by fog ring? Will I need pilot?
No, your power will be clear. That is all, Johnson. G47. Commander S1 to G47.
Proceed, Commander.
Making 10 knots. Position due north of island. 28 degrees, 45 minutes south. Should be at Pier 5 in 90 minutes. Orders?
No orders. Proceed as you are. Your instructions to Johnson, excellent. That is all.
Very good.
Just an hour and a half and Johnson will be here. I'm glad to see him even if he can't help us. I'll be more than glad to get Jerry and Joan out of that submarine.
Oh, that'll help a lot.
You may expect me again when the boat is near. You may now use your radio as much as you care to.
Tex, look, that's sunshine. Let's go out on deck.
Right, dear. Come on. A little daylight won't do me any harm.
Oh, this is glorious. I've never appreciated the light as I do this minute.
Shows up that broken mast and the shattered cabin pretty badly, though. Say, that little pigeon was in his coat when the mast fell.
Oh, I wonder if he's hurt.
We'll know in a minute. Pat, come here. Look in the coat, quick.
Oh, Tex, the little bird isn't hurt, is it?
No, but Pat, look.
Tex, another pigeon in there, with a message tied to him. He must have arrived the instant the yacht came out.
Yes, and that's one of the pigeons from Johnson's boat. We've still got a chance, Pat. There'll be something in that message we can use before Johnson's boat is brought in here.
The Magic Island is once more visible above the surface of the sea. That is, it's visible when the ring of magnetic fog is not surrounding it. The Euclidean submarine has brought the captured rescue boat with Johnson and the crew helpless on board to within a short distance of the island. Captain Tex Bradford and Mrs. Gregory are anxiously awaiting the arrival of Johnson's boat, as they know something about Johnson which no one else knows. They received a message by homing pigeon just before the submarine arrived with Johnson's boat in tow. Jerry and Joan are talking in the submarine as it prepares to cast off Johnson's boat.
Oh, boy. We're nearly back to the island, Joan.
Yes, Jerry. And when we do get back, your Mr. Johnson will be a prisoner, and my mother's other boat will be tied up to the island just as useless as her yacht is now.
I know all that, but this fellow Johnson's plenty smart, and he might have a trick or two up his sleeve that the Euclideans don't know anything about.
I can think of nothing favorable now.
Well, for one thing, remember what I told you about this woman commander on the submarine? She'll be on our side if she sees a chance to get to the world with us.
Now, Jerry, that is silly. Just because she was interested in hearing about my mother's beautiful clothing and some of the things in your world, that does not mean
It means that she's willing to listen when I talk about how swell our world is. And if she listens long enough, and if she'll only come out and meet your mother, it's in the bag.
In the bag? What is in what bag?
I mean, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Your name on the dotted line. Oh, well, never mind. I'll tell you some other time.
It would be well to postpone any further discussion of your commander until she is unable to hear you.
Gee whiz. I forget about that blamed speaker thing all over the submarine.
You forget so many things, Jerry.
Precisely. Now, Hall, you will maintain silence during the next operation. Absolute silence.
Yes'm. Very good, Commander.
SE-1.
Yes, Commander.
Drop the charge in the stern magnetic fin. Release the anchor of that boat immediately.
Right. Release anchor.
Well done. Set your course in a small circle. Cut speed to 3 knots. We will circle and escort this boat to Pier 5.
Speed now 3 knots. Circle with a radius of 100 yards.
Correct. Distance from island?
500 yards.
Approximately?
No, exactly 500 yards at point drop anchor tow.
Excellent. Continue circle to position paralleling port side of boat. Lay to at his speed. Conduct him to starboard slip, Pier 5.
Very good.
S1 to G47. Commander S1 to G47. Reporting submarine ES1.
All those letters make me hungry for some alphabet soup.
Oh, Jerry, you must be quiet.
G47 receiving your report, S1. Proceed.
Drop anchor tow 500 yards due north of Pier 5. Johnson boat will use small motor and interslip under his own power. Think not advisable to take the ES1 into Pier 5 slip with Gregory Yacht there now. We are just completing circle to pick up boat and convoy it to Pier 5. We'll then proceed to dock ES1 in regular submarine berth number 6. That is all. S1 to G47.
Well executed, SE1. Report immediately upon arrival. That is all. G47 to S1.
You, Hall, and you, Cleoster, maintain your positions in the stern section. I will join you for special orders regarding your actions when we arrive at the island.
Look, Joan. She's turned off the speaker gadget so we can't be heard all over the boat.
What can that be for, Jerry?
She's going to tell us something she don't want old Stoneface up there to hear.
Oh, Jerry, that ridiculous idea of yours that the commander is friendly to us will get us into very serious trouble if you're not careful.
Well, leave it to me, Joan. I'll fix it.
Fix it? Is something broken, Jerry?
Look, I'll sell her the idea. Put over the deal. Oh, forget it. Just listen and you'll get the idea.
Even though I made it possible for you to talk in comparative comfort, Hall, it should not be necessary for you to shout.
I'm sorry. Golly whiskers.
Jerry, the commander will not know what you mean by that terrible slang.
You are right in a measure, Cleoster. To understand the gibbering sounds which Hall uses as a method of expression,
one would of necessity revert to the educational standard of the Stone Age. But the forceful gestures and grotesque manipulations of the facial muscles which accompany his outburst reveal his meaning quite plainly.
I get it. The words are too much for you, but the music strikes a responsive chord.
You see, Commander, Jerry does know how to use big words when he wants to.
A more frequent desire will do him credit.
Well, look, Commander, I don't want to break up your class, and if you feel like having some fun with me when I'm stuck where I can't help myself, okay. But if you've got those special orders you were talking about, we'd better get them before we hit the island.
Jerry, you should not suggest the commander's procedure.
It is quite all right, Cleostra. I have no orders to give either of you, but I have a few words of advice which you would do well to follow.
Oh, sure. Advice is what we want plenty of. What's on your mind?
Jerry means, to what advice did you have reference?
I had made the translation myself, Cleostra. And the more I hear of this young man's free manner of speaking and his obvious ignorance, the greater is my curiosity to learn something further of the world outside.
See? What did I tell you, Joan? What did I tell you?
Now, Jerry, please.
Well, Cleostra, what did he tell you?
I think it would not be wise to repeat it.
Very well. You tell me, Hall.
Well, gee, to come right out and tell you, it's not so easy, but well, I'll try.
Please do not, Jerry.
Silence, Cleostra. You may proceed, Hall.
Well, I guess this puts me in plenty bad if I'm wrong, but I got it figured that you're on our side.
I am not sure I follow you.
I mean that you're not so crazy about all this Euclidean stuff, acting like a bunch of machines and talking about going out and conquering the world. A beautiful girl like you, commanding the submarine, thinking of going across the ocean one of these days and blowing up somebody's country. Why, you ought to be like girls back home, going out to dances and parties and seeing shows and, well, all those things. I'm going to teach Joan how to do all of them when we get back to the world.
Jerry, you have made the commander very angry.
Oh, I can't help it. I had a hunch to say it, and I said it.
No, I am not angry. All my life I have been taught the stupidity of you worldlings and the brilliance of we Euclideans. Yet you are happy. You see pleasures and recreations worth living for. You feel the desire to live, even though... No, enough of this. You will forget that it has been said. Your lives depend upon your silence. Make no mistake about that.
Oh, yes, Commander. It is forgotten.
Yes, Commander. It's forgotten.
That is well. Now I return to my duties. The speakers will be turned on. You will preserve silence as we land this boat. And you will preserve silence in all matters.
You see, Jerry, it did no good. And now I feel that we have a definite enemy in the commander.
Well, don't you believe it. She told us to forget what we talked about. Swell, we'll forget it. But she won't.
Be quiet, Jerry. The tubes are beginning to glow in the central control section. The speakers are active.
Okay, but don't forget I told you so when we get a break from the girlfriend.
Position and speed, SE1.
Speed 2 knots, 125 yards due north, and Pier 5.
Good. Stop all power. Lay 2. Allow boat to proceed slip 5 under own power. You, Hall, will come forward to my control section. Cleostra, you may come also. Hurry, Hall.
Coming up. Come on, Joan. Snap into it.
What do you think the commander wants, Jerry?
Well, we'll find out in a minute.
You will sit here before the microphone, Hall. You there, Cleostra. I am going to give Johnson his exact orders regarding his landing. Also advise Captain Bradford on the yacht. It will be well to make the Johnson boat fast to the yacht. You will stand by, Hall, in the event that either Johnson or Bradford want confirmation from you.
Okay, go to it. Yes, Commander.
You are learning. Remember, silence when the red tube glows. You will call Johnson at once. Advise him to lay his boat in close to the yacht. They will be lashed together at once. That will provide for taking them both into the submarine lock in one movement in the event of another emergency.
Boy, you sure think, Commander.
Naturally. All Euclideans think. Immediately you advise Johnson, you will call Captain Bradford. Give him the same instructions regarding the disposition of Johnson's boat. Tell him to stand by to lash the boats together. That is all, Hall. Silence, Cleostra. Proceed.
J12C. Jerry Hall on submarine to J-12C. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J-12. Emergency orders for you. Hello, J-12C. Orders from the submarine commander. Hello, Johnson. Hello.
It is possible he is saving his power to carry him into the anchorage. Raise Bradford. Give him the orders. He will be able to signal Johnson in ample time to warp the boat in properly.
Right. Jerry Hall to J-24Y. Hello, Tex. Hall to Bradford. Can you get me? Answer quick.
Yes, Jerry, I got it. Where'd you signal to Johnson? What are your orders about landing the boat? I'll take them here. See the boat plainly now through the aft port in this cabin. I've been more than a minute or two before he will come in between the piers. Shoot it, kid.
Signal Johnson to come in hard against your starboard rail. Lash the two boats together immediately. Orders from the commander on this sub. Got it?
Yes, bring Johnson against starboard rail and make fast at once. Got it, Jerry. Are you coming in at once?
How about it, Commander?
If G-47 has no other plans for you, you may report to Bradford when we dock.
The skipper... Oh, excuse me, Commander. The skipper says if G-47 says okay, Joan and I can report to you as soon as we dock this sinking cigar.
Okay, son. I've got some news for you. Hurry it up. I'll run out on deck to handle Johnson's boat now.
Oh, I guess that's all, isn't it, Commander?
Very well done, Hall. I will take over. S1 to G-47. Commander S1 reporting the ES1.
Unnecessary. Heard your orders to Bradford. Johnson boat is safely within reach of island magnets. Proceed to your lot. Report to me at once. That is all.
Very well, G-47. That is all. S1.
Gee, it's all over. In just a minute or two, those island magnets will pull Johnson's boat into the slip. Tex will make it fast to the yacht and... Oh, gee. I guess that's about the end of all our plans.
One moment, Hall. SE1.
Yes, Commander.
Full power tubes on. Proceed to lock at once.
Right. Power on. Proceed to lock.
Right. You will dock the ES1 on arrival. That is all.
Oh, Jerry, we're going to see Mother and the captain in a few minutes.
Yeah, and the captain said he had some news for us. I wonder what it could be.
I think I could tell you the news the captain has for you.
You could?
Yes, I am sure I could. And it is news that will shake the island of Euclidia when it reaches the attention of G-47.
What is it, Commander?
I will not tell you.
But you said you could.
Precisely. I could, but I will not.
The program you are about to hear is fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
Exploring tomorrow.
And now here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
Dreams are a remarkable thing, a remarkable power of the human mind. Freud, the psychoanalytical school, has held very important. But there's one aspect of dreaming that they deny, they overlook, perhaps. That's tonight's story. If someone handed you a photograph of a man's face and said, do you know who this is? Suppose that was a photograph of yourself 20 years from now. You'd have an awful hard time recognizing that. We can recognize a picture of something that we have seen, but it's impossible to recognize something that we haven't yet seen. Let's say we have a patient who comes into a analyst's office, a badly frightened man.
Dr. Sharp, my name's Jim Bedford. I got your name from the National Health Trust. They say you're the quick shock analyst they'd recommend in this area.
It's nice of the Health Trust to say that. It builds up my morale in these troubled post-war times.
He speaks very highly of you. I feel so darn silly running to a psychiatrist. That's for old ladies. Maybe we better forget it. I've got a lot of pressing work that I really should be taking care of.
Let's see, Mr. Bedford. Now, Now, according to the data you gave my secretary, you're with the State War Reclaim Bureau.
Yes, that's right. I'm regional director. I've been with the Bureau all my adult life since 1971. Since the Doom War.
It must be rewarding work watching the radioactive ash cleared away, houses and stores springing up again after so many decades, seeing the city itself come back from the rubble, knowing you could take a good share of the credit.
That's going to be a long task, another generation.
Sit down and you tell me about it.
No couch? I thought all you psychoanalysts had couches. This office building was lucky to escape being hit.
Yes, it's one of the few pre-war buildings left in this part of Sacramento. Matter of fact, it was your War Reclaim Bureau that loaned my family the money to rebuild.
Doctor, why is this happening to me? What am I going to do? I have to stay at my job. Nobody else can do it. Nobody else knows this area the way I do. Nobody knows the people here the way I do.
You were born here, William?
Yes, I've lived in Sacramento all my life.
What is it that's bothering you?
I have some kind of hallucination, and it keeps getting worse. I've tried to shake it, but it comes back bigger and stronger. Now it's getting so that I can't work. I can't do my job.
I'm starting up recall-inducing equipment, Mr. Bedford. It'll put you in a state of semi-sleep for a few moments. I'd like you to tell me what this hallucination is. Then maybe I can tell you why you have it. And maybe help you deal with it.
Must be 1 million of them stuck in the basket today alone. Oh, I ought to quit and go to bed and get some sleep. Where's the report on that mutant rat they've been killing? One that spins webs. Better okay the extermination program. Poisoned grain probably be best if it eats grain. Probably have to ask for federal aid. Not enough funds to do the job right. Oh, I'll okay the extermination and hope they can raise the funds. Bad enough to have ordinary rodent infestation. Plague carriers, the worst possible sanitation menace.
Menace? Huh?
Oh, it's you, Giller. How did you get into my apartment?
Front door was unlocked. I'm sorry to interrupt your work.
Well, I was about to stop. What time is it? Past midnight. You want a beer? I'm going to have one.
Sizing invaluable grain off to make beer in these times of need. Must be nice to be a big wheel and have luxuries. Your own stove, refrigerator. You know, I haven't had beer since last May.
You'll survive. You've always managed to. Trade some of that black market coffee of yours or some of those eggs from your chickens.
You know, we lost all our chickens. That blood disease from the old H-bomb blast. Take a look at this.
Your application for aid?
Turned down.
I know.
Why?
Don't ask me why. Oh, okay. I'm the responsible person. I turned it down.
You and I have been friends since we were kids.
So what?
You get a kick out of it, lording it over the people you've known. People who were something in the community before the Doom War. People you had to look up to and say sir to.
I'm sorry about your poultry farm. I'm sorry for all the poultry raisers, you included, and the beef raisers and the walnut growers, but certain things have to be rebuilt before others. Heavy industry comes first. Factories, steel and cement and fuel producers, synthetic fabric.
We're your people.
Good night, Giller. Write me a letter on the proper form.
I'll talk to you in a few days about my application for aid. Maybe you'll change your mind. Come around.
Giller ever got that farm going, he'd be the biggest black market operator in California. $5 a piece for grade A eggs, and he knows where to get it. Everybody trying to swing a deal, make money, cash in on people's hunger. I wonder if he's really gone, or if he's hanging around outside. People like him get on my nerves. I better go see.
Patient has some kind of fear of a basic insecurity. A feeling that he's faced with a problem that he must solve, then can't solve. But he's got to solve it. But he can't solve it. But it must be solved.
Mr. Bedford.
I'm falling. Help me, I'm falling.
No, you're not. You're here in my office, sitting in a chair. Yes. But I was falling. I started to go out of my apartment. I opened the door to the hall, and there wasn't any floor under my feet, just emptiness. And I tried to grab hold of something, and there wasn't anything, nothing at all, anywhere. Just darkness. What happened next? Were you hurt? Doctor, how could I have been hurt? It was just in my mind. Maybe I stumbled or something, but I didn't fall, because there was no place to fall. Momentary dizziness from overwork, fatigue. Yes, maybe. And since then, you've had a fear of falling. A phobia. Phobia about high places. Okay, Mr. Bedford, let's try another recall. Now, this time, I want you to remember more about the falling and your friend Giller.
Stop it! Don't kill me! Don't throw me over the rail, please!
Shut up! Well, you probably think I'm going to give you one last chance before we toss you off this ramp.
Not my fault. I tried to get funds. Bureau's short on funds. Terrible task ahead. He can't hear you.
Bedford, I came to you and begged you to okay our application, but you turned us down. You did all you could to block it.
Black market rebel? Police never seem to get you all. Probably bought off.
That's right, bought off. Now, look, Bedford, for old time's sake, you want to get in on this along with us. I'll let you in. I have a sentimental feeling towards you. I think you sincerely felt you shouldn't okay our application.
I never will. Even if you kill me.
Oh, you mean that?
I got my job, responsibility. Heavy industry comes first.
Remember when there were eggs, how the shells looked when they were dropped? Remember how it felt to crush the eggshell underfoot? How did that old nursery rhyme go about putting the pieces of the shell back together? By the way, Bedford, we're making sure the next regional director isn't so devoted to heavy industry. We're getting in somebody with, shall we say, an agricultural frame of mind?
Okay, let's finish this up and get going. Get him over the rail. It's almost a mile to the ground. How could a thing like this happen to me and be forgotten? Can a person forget being knocked down, kicked, and threatened with death?
It wasn't forgotten. It remained buried beneath, repressed. We'll have to try some more recall, Mr. Bedford. So far, I don't have enough to go on. Now, this business of Giller and his men beating and terrorizing you provides what's called the traumatic incident, the moment of fear that starts the chain reaction of repression going. But, are you willing to try another recall?
Not now, Doctor.
We shouldn't stop at this point.
I couldn't stand anymore. Tomorrow, maybe.
We'd better go on now, Mr. Bedford. Now, from what you recall, I got an impression that there's no time to waste. I don't think they just beat you up and threatened you. I think they did throw you over the rail to your death. I think they killed you.
All right, Doctor. I'll let you start your recall-inducing gadget again, but don't make me go back to that moment. Something else. I couldn't stand to see them standing there above me. Higher and higher, and then the ramp and the railing disappearing.
This time, I'd like you to think of something pleasant, satisfying. Perhaps a day in your work when you were particularly pleased with what you accomplished.
The public baths. Kids splashing around, lots of hot water. Wonder how many of us would be dead by now. Dead from contamination from the perpetual fallout if we hadn't built those huge pools and fountains over there. The hardest decision I ever made. I felt like a lunatic, giving them the go-ahead. A lot of people were angry about that. But after I saw the figures from the Anti-Radiation Committee, it had to be done. No matter how many people got angry. I know my duty. It's to the whole people, not a few special groups here and there.
You say you okayed the building of mass public baths, and you actually stood and watched the people bathing.
That's right. Togas, like ancient times.
Mr. Bedford, I want you to listen to me carefully. I have something important to say to you.
What's wrong, Doctor?
Well, as a licensed general practitioner, I've been interested in the idea of public baths as an anti-radiation measure. In my opinion, it's a sound idea. But the proposal hasn't yet been put through. No baths have been built. It'll be at least 5 years before the baths can be put into operation.
The usual interpretation doesn't quite check. Sometimes the dream isn't quite usual. If a man has a dream of the future, it's awfully hard to identify its source, because the source hasn't happened yet.
Tell me, Bedford, you were exposed to a great deal of radiation in the early part of your life, and so were your parents.
That's right.
We all were. We all went through the blasts and the heavy fallout of the war, the contamination of our food, water, homes, clothing. Do you remember any unusual exposure, either to you or to your parents, radiation approaching a dangerous maximum?
Let me try to remember. I'm confused. You think I'm some sort of a freak.
Stop sitting there in the chair insulting yourself. You have to make plans.
Plans? There's nothing I can do. There's no way I can stop him.
Try to remember any toxic dose of radiation, especially in the earliest part of your life. Now go back to the enemy missile attack. Sirens. Can you hear sirens? You're possibly running toward a shelter. Your family running, too. Across a field, maybe.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I've had all I can take. I'll see you again some other time.
You're leaving?
Thanks for the help. I've got to consider all this. Maybe I'm not remembering the future. Maybe it's just a false memory, a neurotic fantasy. How could we check? If it's really in the future...
What's the matter?
I can't get up. What? I can't stand up. I'm afraid I'll fall. Doctor, now I can't even get to my feet.
Well, make yourself comfortable in your chair, and we'll go on with the therapy, as I said we should.
I guess I have no choice.
Now, you know what we're after this time. At some point in your life, you apparently were exposed to a near-toxic dose of radiation.
Wait for me. Hey, don't leave me behind. Come on back. Hey, Tony, wait for me.
Hurry up.
Okay. Let's get down. Get the metal lid off. And wait. They're almost here. Get the lid of the shelter up so we can get down there and be safe.
You scared, Jimmy?
Yes. Open that lid.
Not until you apologize for what you said in class the other day. You said my family moved here because they thought nobody would bomb this sector. You said my family was scared of being bombed. Okay, let's see.
Yes, I remember. When Tony and I were kids during the war. We got the scuffling, seeing who was braver. And while we were scuffling, the first warhead exploded a couple of miles up the coast.
So that's where you got the near-toxic dose?
Yes. The whole place was saturated. Hot. They had to rope off the rubble, close the roads. I was in the hospital for a month, down in the underground medical wards along with the real casualties.
Weren't you a real casualty?
No, I wasn't hurt. They made all the tests. They found no sign of tissue damage, blood count okay, bone marrow unaffected, no cancerous formations.
But now you know you were affected.
Yeah, I was affected.
Now listen to me, Mr. Bedford. You still have time to re-examine your dealings with Gillard.
You mean give him the Bureau funds he wants so he can set up his black market operations?
No, Dr. Sharp.
I have my responsibility to the people of this area. Those funds have to be given to the proper applicants.
Even if it means your life?
Yes, even if it means my life. I'm still not going to give Gillard the funds.
I respect you, Mr. Bedford. I can see why the government gave you the job.
I've tried to do it right. I feel proud of what I've done. The hygienic baths, evidently I'll be successful there. That alone makes it worthwhile. I don't feel too depressed. All in all, it was worth it. A lot of people died in the war. My death comes a number of years later, but can possibly consider it as a bona fide war death. With honor. Hey, look, I can stand up now. I'm on my feet. Bringing up that material about the radiation exposure must have done it. Do you intend to come back again and see me? No, there doesn't seem to be much of a reason. I'd like to keep on trying. Maybe there's a junction of possible futures. Some point in time at which we can deflect the future that's waiting for you. Oh, I'll think about it. All right, Doctor. And thanks a lot for trying. Did you wish to see me?
My name is Tony Giller. I'm sorry to bother you, but this constitutes an emergency. I got... Well, it's a compulsion. And it's following up my life.
Sit down. Tell me about it.
I have an irresistible urge to push people.
Push people?
Towards windows, out. What am I going to do, Doc? There was a little shrimp of a guy I pushed once, and one day a girl was standing ahead of me on an escalator, and I shoved her. She was injured. I'm afraid I'll eventually kill somebody someday. Some perfectly harmless person who never did anything wrong in his life.
The stone is never afraid of anything. The stone has no sense of futurity, no sense of a future to control. Wherefore it has no fear. If you can feel fear, it means that you can sense the future. To the extent that you can sense the future, you can control it. You don't have to be stuck with any particular future. If you take the trouble to dream about the future, then you have a chance to do something about the future. If you don't like atomic wars, you have a chance to do something about it, provided you dream that it's there. Nightmare or not, you have a chance to do something.
Adventures of Superman, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, brought to you by that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Today we return to a dramatic moment in the saga of Superman. Did his astonishing powers really desert him as he faced the Nazi agent's gun? Well, we'll soon find out. But right now, let's adjourn to the Pet Aviation Club, where a new member is being shown around.
And here are our model pet planes over on this table by the window, Jack. And over here in the corner, we've got all the scrapbooks we made on the pet models. Here, take a look at these.
Jeepers, I never even heard of some of the models we've got here.
How many can we get all together? 20. There are 4 British ones, 2 Russian ones, and 14 American models altogether.
Oh, gee, look at this one, this Russian job. What do you know about this one, Tommy, the stern of it?
Let's see. Oh, we haven't got much in the scrapbook about that one so far. The Russians don't say much about their planes. I've got the envelope of instructions that the pet model stern of it came in, though. See? There are lots of pointers on the back.
Yeah, I see. And what are those big scrapbooks over there on the table?
One of them's on the P-37 Thunderbolt, and the other's got clippings on the P-30.
Oh, gee. I'd like to find out more about these planes. Do you suppose I could borrow a couple of these scrapbooks?
Oh, sure. But be careful of them. They're the official property of the Pet Aviation Club, you know.
Oh, I'll be careful. And thanks a lot, Tommy.
Well, gang, there are lots of surprises in store for the new Boy Jack, so be sure to keep on listening. meantime, don't forget that there are two types of prizes you can get in the Kellogg's pet packages. The model plane or the hot iron transfer of one of the U.S. Air Force combat insignia. And this hot iron transfer, by the way, is at the bottom of the wax sleeper bag inside the pet package. Remember that. And then, don't forget that Kellogg's Pep is one of the crispiest, crunchiest, best-tasting cereals you ever took a spoon to. Keep on making crisp, delicious Kellogg's Pep your own special breakfast every single morning. Keep on collecting those nifty prizes. And remember the name Pep. P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Hailing a Nazi spy ring to its headquarters, a small printing shop in an obscure section of Metropolis, Clark Kent and Lois Lane ran into trouble. Having overheard two members of the ring, Baron Trump and Walter Kleinsmith, planning the destruction of 1,000-plane flying fortress armada with a new secret German weapon, Kent and Lois attempted to leave the shop to warn the ferry command, but were held at gunpoint by the Baron. Shielding Lois with his body, Kent defied the Nazi spy leader, safe in the knowledge that as Superman, no bullet could harm him. As we continue now, the scene is tense. A single green-shaded light burns in the dirty little printing shop. Lois is standing behind Kent, who is facing the Baron and his henchman Kleinsmith. The Baron's index finger tightens on the trigger of his gun. Listen.
I will count 10. Young lady does not obey my order and go down to the trap door to the basement. By the time I am through counting, I will shoot.
Oh, please, let me go.
Don't move her. You think perhaps I'm afraid to fire for fear the shot will be heard. Evidently you've forgotten what I told you. The gun is equipped with a silencer. Don't be here beyond these 4 rolls. Eh? The young lady is staying right where she is.
Don't get...
Now committing suicide. I count. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, don't be afraid.
4.
It's going to shoot.
5.
Don't move, Lois.
6. I said don't move. 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And you are next. Franklin. I'd like to go. Speak up as loud and I expect there's something wrong with the silence on this gun. There you are. Stand the door now, Franklin. What? You remain here till you're certain the shot was not heard. Let's take you, young woman. Keep quiet, or I will not be so merciful as to let you die quickly and without pain. Instead, I will use the butt of this revolver. Quiet, I said. Are you coming, Francis? Quiet. Keep watching. And wait another moment or two. Stupid fool of an American. What has he gotten for his bravery? A bullet through his heart. Some days he will learn that he can't teach that he has a master. What is? The policeman comes out the street. Stand up to your door. Keep low. And you, young lady, if you open your mouth, I will split your skull. He's coming down. Quiet. Nothing could have happened. If you would let him in, I would have shot him down. Turn on the light now. Didn't I tell you to keep your shut your mouth? The body. Huh? It is gone. Good thing, really.
Like 3 graven images, unable to believe their eyes, Lois, the Baron, and Kleinsmith stared at the spot on the floor where only a moment ago Clark Kent's body lay in a crumpled heap, to all appearances dead, with a bullet in his heart. But appearances are often deceiving, for Kent, in his role of Superman, having taken advantage of the momentary darkness to slip quietly down through the open trapdoor to the basement, is now awaiting development. A faint smile touches his lips as his X-ray eyes view the scene on the floor above him. Finally, the Baron, pale and visibly shaken, breaks the silence.
Something has gone wrong, Francis. You must get out of here. The bodies do not move. Where is it? What must you stand there with your mouth open asking stupid questions? How should I know where he is? Take it out to the basement. No, come. Put your hand over her mouth. Take her down. I will We'll remain up here at the trap door in case a policeman heard us scream. Go up into that storage closet facing the stairway. Lock the door. You need help, Francis?
Nein. I can handle her. What is the scream?
Once she's in the closet, she will not scream for long.
Here's locked in the closet there.
Stand aside now. What are you going to do? The door to that closet, only tin wood. I'm going to empty this gun into it. But it is so dark down there. How can you see to aim? Aiming is not necessary. The closet is there in front of the stairway. One of the 5 bullets will find its mark. Stand back. You see? You're no longer praying for help. I fired only 3 bullets. Remain easy, other 2. I'll save them. Come, let us go. That's the body of that one. The man's body. There is a general act made up differences it makes. Do not meet in this place again. There's nothing here to indicate it is anything more than a printing shop. Tonight you will turn the key on the door for the last time. After this, we'll meet at my place. Come. It appears we've been very fortunate.
As the Baron and his henchman leave the shop, the red-faced figure standing in front of the basement closet door, the figure who only a moment before watched 3 revolver bullets bounce harmlessly off his chest, smiles knowingly. Yes, Baron Kranz, you have been fortunate. But good fortune won't last very long. And if I have anything to say about it. I'll go closing. He's gone. Now, I guess I can break this tissue paper wood and get the lower. There we are. Oh, poor kid. Fainted when the Baron's gun began to bark. I'll just get her up for a minute. Have her on the milk. She's coming through. Easy.
I'm cold blood.
Now, take it easy, lad. Everything's all right. You're safe now.
You can't see me.
An old friend of yours. That's right.
We met at Parkland. A man named Baron Kranz and not his side.
Relax, Lois, relax. Kent's alive and well.
But I saw the Baron shooting. Point blank.
You hit the nail on the head, Lois. Point blank is right. There were no bullets in the Baron's gun.
What?
He didn't know it was loaded with blanks.
But Kranz dropped in his heat.
Well, he probably fainted when the gun went off, just as you did.
Didn't mean what happened to him when they turned on the lights. His body was gone.
That was my little trick. I sneaked him out and brought him through. As a matter of fact, he's on his way to the headquarters of the ferry command at the airport. He said to tell you to have Jimmy Olsen bring over any clippings on Baron Kranz you can dig up in the Daily Planet morgue.
What happened to Kranz and Kranz?
Well, they got away for the time being.
Yeah, that can't say truly, but I just know what you're talking about. I'm to return to the Planet office, dig out the clippings, and send them to Clark at Ferry Command Headquarters of the
That's right. How'd you like me to fly you back to the Planet office?
Oh, can't think of anything I'd like better.
All right, let's go. Look off for the second. You see all right?
Not very well. Go.
Here, wait a minute, I'll help you. Just swing one arm around my neck. All right, up with you. The rear door of the shop is open.
Yes, Clark broke the lock.
Here we are in the back alley. All right, hold on now. We're going. Up and away! With Lois as a delighted passenger, Superman leaps into the darkness, his red cape streaming. In just a moment, we'll return for the climax of our story at Ferry Command Headquarters. But first, John wants to tell you how to start the day right. Go ahead, John.
John, have you ever noticed how a really swell breakfast kind of sets you up for the rest of the day? Well, if you have, you'll probably find that goes just about double when you start off the morning with a couple of bowls full of golden, delicious Kellogg's Pep. Yes, sir, those crunchy, tempting whole wheat flakes are just chock full of the hearty flavor all of us go for. And what's more, there's a keen prize inside every single Pep package. A marble plane or a hot iron transfer of one of the U.S. Air Force combat insignia. Gang, be sure your mother gets you a package of Pep tomorrow. And remember the name Pep. P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek.
And now, back to our story. Superman, once more in the guise of Clark Kent, is seated in the office of Colonel Jonathan Hill at Ferry Command Headquarters. The Colonel, an ace pilot in his own right, and directly in charge of all overseas flights, shakes his head in amazement as Kent recounts his experiences of the last few hours.
Unbelievable, Mr. Kent. You mean to say this Baron France is planning to destroy an armada of 1,000 American bombers?
Are you planning to send 1,000 bombers to Italy within a week?
Well, that information, Mr. Kent, is, of course, a military secret. Since you have to assist us in rounding up this firing, you should know. Yes, we are. And that flight of 1,000 B-17s will leave this airport to Italy the day after tomorrow.
Oh, and the Baron's information is correct. The one thing he doesn't know is when the flight is leaving, but he has a way of finding out. I told you a member of his ring, a traitorous American, is now working at this airport. He's been assigned to learn when the flight's taking off.
You mentioned the traitor's name, didn't you?
Yes, I did. George Adams.
No traitor should be permitted to own a good American name like Adams. What about that secret weapon you heard the Nazis discussing?
Well, the Baron revealed no details, simply that it was a weapon that could wipe out the 1,000 flying fortresses without any difficulty. In fact, the weapon would end the war in a month in Germany's favor.
There's only one thing to do, Mr. Kent, if you're willing.
Count on me, sir.
Good. Here's my plan. If possible, we want to round up the entire ring and at the same time get some information about that secret weapon.
Of course.
I suggest that tomorrow morning we'll put you on here as a grease monkey, an assistant mechanic. You try and get close to this George Adams person, pose as a Nazi sympathizer.
Good idea.
Tell him you know when the flight's leaving and the route it's going to take. You can report to me at night when the day shift is cleared out.
Sounds good to me, sir. There's only one favor I'd like to ask.
Oh, what is it?
Can my young assistant, Jimmy Olsen, work with me on this job? He should be here in a minute. You can meet him.
Of course, that'll be all right. Now, what do we want to result? Number one, rounding up the ring. Number two, getting the dope on that weapon.
I can promise you both those things, Colonel Hill.
You're not Superman, are you?
Huh? Oh, no. No, but I'm the closest thing to him.
And Clark Kent isn't kidding. He certainly is the closest thing to Superman. In fact, as we all know, he's Superman himself. But even the Man of Steel has his work cut out for him this trip. Baron France wasn't exaggerating about the new German secret weapon. It's a weapon that needs no bullets and no shells. The deadliest weapon yet to come out of this or any other war. 1,000 American flying fortresses are in danger, and even Superman may be powerless to help them. So keep following this story for thrills and excitement. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications. The Super Delicious Cereal presents The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to reach tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman. Brought to you by that Super Delicious Cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Today, with greasy overalls, masking his red and blue costume, Superman starts work as an airfield mechanic, hoping to gain access to Nazi plans for the destruction of a huge flight of American bombers. Speaking of bombers, let's hear what new activities are being planned for the Pep Aviation Club.
Hey, come here, you
Oh, sure. Come on in.
I brought some samples back. The ones on the Pep model planes, if you like me.
Boy, are they interesting. We put a lot of work into those. Aren't they keen?
Well, I'll say they are. Listen, Tommy, do you know any aviators? I mean, guys who've been flying ships like these?
Oh, right.
Well, I think it'd be swell if we could have a meeting and find out what it's really like to be in combat action. After all, if you're going to be a pilot, you can't start learning too soon. That's why I'm so interested in collecting as many Pep model planes as I can, so I can study on the different planes.
That's a neat idea, Jack. I'll tell you what. I'll call up John and ask him. He ought to know all about it. Just wait a sec. I know the number.
I sure hope he's home.
Hello?
Hello, John.
Now, what's in your mind, Tommy?
Hey, Jack and I were just wondering if you could arrange things for us to meet a pilot and discuss flying with him.
Why, sure. As a matter of fact, I've been up on a test flight in a P-47 myself.
Hey, gee, will you tell us all about it tomorrow?
Why, sure. I'll make tomorrow all right.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Oh, boy, will the Pep Aviation Club be surprised when they hear this.
Well, Dan, I don't want to give away any secrets, but I can tell you this. You can get a model of the P-47 inside a Kellogg's Pep package. And here's another thing I know. When it comes to extra crispness and golden delicious flavor, Pep is a real winner every time. Then keep on making Pep your regular breakfast. keep on collecting these nifty prizes. And remember the name PEP. P-E-P. PEP is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek. And now, the adventures of Superman.
Despite the eternal vigilance of the FBI, and despite its never-ending war against Axis agents and American traitors, there are still some few spy rings carrying on their dirty, underhanded work in our big cities. Following the trail that began with a bouquet of flaming roses, Clark Kent and Lois Lane uncovered a Nazi ring led by a man known as Baron Crump. Somehow the Baron had learned that a huge aerial armada of 1,000 B-17s was about to take off on a non-stop flight to Italy. Plans were being made to intercept the flying fortresses in mid-ocean and destroy them with a new German secret weapon. But the Army Air Forces Terror Command and Clark Kent have other ideas. As our story continues today, we find Kent and young Jimmy Olsen both dressed in overalls, strolling across the airport from which the bombers are scheduled to leave. Listen.
Well, ain't you even going to tell me what this is all about? A.C. Jim, F.A.C. Hey, what am I, a doctor? What's got to do with it? All you can tell me to do is have patience.
Oh, if you pull one more spare fun like that, you'll need a doctor.
Well, all I say is it ain't fair.
It isn't fair.
You're damn shooting with it.
I was correcting your grammar, not agreeing with you. Wait a minute, Jim. Hold up.
Now what?
See that B-25 bomber on the open straight ahead of us?
Yeah? That's a missile. I got a model of it.
There's a ground crew working on it, getting it ready for flight.
So what? It's being serviced all over the field. It's one of the biggest fields in the state.
I know. Take a good look at the man wiping off the fuselage. His name is George Adams.
Oh, you photograph?
Hardly. He's working for a Nazi spy ring.
International. You mean to say they want a Nazi spy to around with one of our bombers?
Wait a minute.
Call the police. Call the FBI. What are you standing there for, Mr. You can't do something.
Well, here's going to do something. Listen carefully. The day after tomorrow, 1,000 flying substances will take off from this field on a non-stop flight to Italy.
Oh, 1,000 B-17s.
Each one of those bombers is worth $250,000. You figure what the 1,000 are worth?
Oh, that's cheap. $250,000 is $250,000.
That's right.
$250,000 is $1,250,000.
In a roundabout way.
So to get the cost of 1,000 bombers, you divide 1,000 by 4. It gives you 250, and that means I could do it better with a pencil and paper.
Paid more attention to your arithmetic if you do it in your head. You're on the right track. 4 into 1,000 gives you 250 shots.
Million?
That's right. Those 1,000 B-17s cost $250 million.
That's a lot of Missoula.
Lot of what?
Missoula. That's another word for money.
Not a very good word. Yes, sir. $250 million is a lot of money. You're going to lose it.
Hey, what makes you think those flying forts with anybody else?
Our friend over there, Mr. George Adams, works for the Nazi spy ring, planning to destroy them.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me at him. I'll bust him in the knees.
Not quite that simple. You don't want Mr. Adams busted in the knees, not just yet. We're planning to use Mr. Adams first. We want him to get us in with the spy ring so that we can learn what the new secret German weapon is. The weapon they say will destroy the 1,000 bombers in mid-ocean.
Oh, so that's why we're here, dressed in overalls, huh?
Exactly. We're temporary group hunters, you and I. And our job is to make friends with Mr. Adams. See, the Nazi he works for, Baron Crump, knows the B-17s are leaving from this airport, but he doesn't know them. Now, Adams is here to find out. We'll give him the impression we can tell him. For fun.
Oh, I get it.
Good. Don't be surprised if I say some strange things to you. Just play along.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Say, Adams isn't German, isn't Mr. Kent?
No, that makes it worse. Any American would sell out the enemy to be drawn and quartered.
Before I'm through, I am going to bop him in a beat.
All right, pipe down now. Hi. Need any help cleaning up that fuselage? Boss said to come over and see. Yeah, sure. All the help I can get. Down on the other side. Okay, come on, Jim. Be sure you get all the police off. Yeah, we will.
That's the right kind of beat at a bop.
Mr. Congress, you better be careful. You get your own box. Here, that way. I'll give any now, Jim. I'll get anything I say. Okay. I hear those B-17s are taking off to Italy sometime this week, Jim.
Yeah?
Yeah, 1,000 of them. I know the day they're taking off, too.
No kidding.
Yep. Heard the colonel telling one of the pilots. I wouldn't spill it for $100.
Would you do it for 1,000?
Well, maybe. 1,000's a lot of money. Yeah, I could buy plenty of things for $1,000. I could quit this job, too. Oh, I care who wins the war.
Don't make any difference to me. That's the way I look at it.
Riding's coming around to this side, Mr. Kent.
Are you guys getting all the grease out? Yeah, sure. Take it easy. Don't break your neck. The job's got to be done. I suppose it ain't done. I feel the same way about the war you do. Huh? What's the difference? Who wins? Us or them? We ain't going to be no better off. So why break your neck working for peanuts? Oh, you're right. I heard you say when the P17s are taken off this week. Uh-huh. What day? I know, but I couldn't tell you, Bud. How about for $1,000?
Well,
maybe 2,000?
Who pays $2,000 for that kind of stuff?
You beat the price, pal. Listen, this shift goes off in an hour. I'll meet you two guys outside the main gate. I gotta wait for all of us to make some real go. Okay? All right. I'll be there. Leave it. Look at the board. Stop polishing. Successful in their first encounter with Adams, the traitor. Kent and Jimmy arranged to meet him an hour later at the main gate. From there, Adams leads him to an almost empty diner. The place is quiet, save for the playing of a piano record on his mixbox. Adams takes seats at the far end of the counter.
Cup of coffee, Joe.
How about you guys? Nothing for me, thanks. You, Bud?
Can I have a Coca-Cola?
Sure. One coffee and one Coke, Joe.
One coffee and one Coke, Governor.
Now, here's the story. I know a guy paid big dough to find out when them those P17s are taken off.
Yeah, why?
How should I know? I don't ask questions. All I do is collect. He was maybe on the newspaper or something, and he wants to get a scoop.
That doesn't sound very...
Hold it a minute.
Oh, that's the coffee.
Me. The Coke?
I do.
Oh, he just ain't sight. I got it. Yeah. Thanks. Now, look, pal. Maybe this guy is sign on the newspaper. Maybe just nuts. All I know is you'll pay $2,000 or more to get the dope on one of them phones you're taking off. So here's my idea. You tell me, and I'll pass the dope on to him, and we'll split. Oh, no, nothing doing. What's the matter? Don't you trust me?
Sure, but if I'm going to tell anyone, I'll tell him that he's paying the money, nobody else. Like Jim?
Right. Okay, that suits me. Are you sure you know? I get it. Not only the day, but the hour and the route that only you're taking. Okay. Are both you guys in on this?
Yep. My partner.
All right. Now listen. This guy I'm talking about, the guy who's going to pay the dough, he lives in a kind of a funny place. It's an old Rockford building on the corner of Place Street and 10th Avenue. There ain't nothing in it except down the basement where this guy lives. It's all fixed up down there. Now, you meet me outside the building at 8 o'clock tonight. I'll take you to meet the guy, okay?
A lost building on the corner of Blake and 10th, huh?
That's right, at 8 sharp. And don't disappoint me.
Don't worry. I'll be there.
A lost building at the corner of Blake Street and 10th Avenue. Evidently, Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen are going to be led to the hideout of none other than Baron Crump. In just a moment, we'll return for the exciting climax to this episode. But first, John wants to tell you how you can learn a great deal about our famous fighting planes. Go ahead, John.
Well, you know the approximate speed and climbing rate of the P-47 Thunderbolt? You know what type engine it's powered with? Well, the answers to these questions are all printed on the envelope of instructions that the top model P-47 comes in. So if you've already got a Model P-47, you should know the answers already. And if you haven't yet gotten one, just remember that there are two kinds of prizes in the Kellogg's Cup packages now. A Model 10 or a hot iron transfer and one of the U.S. Air Force combat insignia. Soon be sure your mother gets you a package of 12-casing Pep tomorrow. See which prize you find inside. And remember the name Pep. P-E-P. Pep is made by Kellogg's in Battle Creek. And now, back to our story.
The scene is strange. There is a basement of a loft building at Blake Street at 10th Avenue in a dark, deserted section of Metropolis. The building itself, long abandoned, is empty, but the basement is furnished like a sumptuous apartment, hidden from the street by a series of mysterious wall panels that slide open at the touch of a button. It is now 5 minutes to 8. The much-inspiring leader, Baron Crump, is seated in a large, overstuffed chair, smoking a cigarette in a white pearl holder. Seated beside him is his henchman, Walter Kleinsmith, and standing before him is George Adams, the American traitor. Baron Crump removes the cigarette holder from between his thin lips.
You're certain beyond a shadow of a doubt that these two Americans are bringing here tonight can be trusted.
They'll do anything for Joe, Baron. Anything.
What makes you so sure?
I heard them talking. One of them said he didn't care who won this war. Made no difference to him. And they weren't talking about them P17. The big guy said he'd say what he knew for $1,000.
What does he know?
The soap we need. When them bombers are taken off, and what use they're flying.
I hope you're not making a mistake, Mynheer. This business, it is possible to make only one mistake. You remember what happened to Herr Gordon?
It ain't going to happen to me.
Perhaps not. But understand one thing. Whether or not these men have the information they are looking for, and whether or not they give us that information, they cannot under any circumstances be permitted to leave this place alive. Is that clear?
Yeah. We can't take no chances.
Precisely. So we need to remember that dead men are silent men.
That's okay by me, as long as I get mine.
Even yours is blood money, eh?
It's money, ain't it?
I suppose so. What time are you to meet them?
At 8 o'clock. Outside the building.
It's now 1 minute of 8. Better go up now and leave them into the park. I will not be here when you bring them down. They're trying to speak to them. I'll be watching and listening, however. And to remember, they're making a mistake in bringing them here. They will not be the only ones to suffer. You will suffer too.
Rising and crossing the room, the Baron reaches behind the curtain and presses a hidden button. Slowly, a secret wall panel slides open. The helium atom is let through. The panel closes, and Walter Cranston is left alone in the room. What are Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen stepping into? Don't make a word of tomorrow's episode. They're not becoming a threat to match itself against Superman's strength. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you by the makers of that super delicious cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Ready to release tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. This is usual.
Transcribed. Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise ship. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. While Astro was held prisoner by mysterious smugglers on the planet Venus, his renegade cousin Mirko impersonated him at Space Academy. Managing to escape, Astro returned to the Academy where he, Tom Corbett, and Roger Manning captured Mirko. Now the three cadets have been summoned to the quarters of Commander Arkwright.
Astro, the Solar Alliance has requested you to undertake a highly important but extremely dangerous mission.
Me, sir?
Cadets Corbett and Manning, your cooperation is also requested.
I'm ready, sir. Same here. What's the mission, sir?
As you know, Mirko was caught smuggling out Neo-RDX, the most powerful explosive in the universe. He's confessed that the explosives are to be used in a bigger operation, raiding the space lanes.
Raiding? You mean piracy, sir?
Exactly. Mirko had a super-high-frequency transmitter by which he contacted Beale from the Academy. This morning, intelligence persuaded Mirko to contact Beale. This is a tape recording of their conversation.
FC-394. Mirko calling Beale. FC-394. Mirko calling Beale. Come in, Beale.
Beale here. I've been trying to contact you, Mirko. Astro got away.
Yes, I know. He was here. What? Luckily, the fool came to the dormitory first. I was there alone, and I took care of him. We'll never have to worry about my dear, stupid cousin again.
Well, that's a relief. Nice work, Margot.
Now, listen. I'm hiding the stuff aboard the rocket cruiser Polaris tonight. I've already given you the rocket schedule.
Right. We'll be ready to pick it up. Oh, wait just a minute. Stand by.
Right here, Beale was apparently interrupted, perhaps by the leader of the operation who gave him other instructions. You'll hear him again in a minute.
But, sir, what did Mirko mean? He took care of me.
We instructed him to say that, Astro. If Beale and the others believed you were dead, they'd feel safe in continuing to work with Mirko. Then we could put a dummy package aboard the Polaris, and intelligence officers could grab the gang when they picked it up.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, now, Mirko, listen sharp.
Go ahead, Beale.
Here's what you do. Since you're in that Polaris unit, you can bring the stuff out yourself.
Bring it myself? You mean to Venusport?
Well, now, maybe we ain't there no more.
Where are you?
We ain't quite settled on a place yet. We've got the Polaris schedule, so someplace along the line, one port or another, you'll be contacted.
Which port?
Ain't quite sure of that, neither. You just get yourself away from Corbett and Manning on all the spaceports, and we'll be in touch with you. So long, Mirko. See you later.
All right, that's the end of the recording. Now, do you understand your assignment, Astro?
I think so, sir. Mirko posed as me. Now you want me to pose as him and make contact with the gang.
Right. Find out all you can about them and their plans. But I must warn you, this assignment is extremely dangerous. They're obviously suspicious. That's why they want to see Mirko.
I realize that, sir.
So, you may refuse the assignment if you wish.
Refuse it? Not me.
Thank you. Cadets Corbett and Manning, you have the same choice. You needn't accompany Cadet Astro if you prefer not to.
Oh, let that hillbilly get his neck in a sling without us? Not in a million years. I beg your pardon, sir.
I understand, Manning. Cadet Corbett?
Count me in, sir, naturally.
Very well, then, cadets. You've made your decision, and I must say I'm proud of you. You will prepare to blast off in 2 hours. Use your heads and try to come home safely. Now, goodbye. And spaceman's luck to you all.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Tom Corbett, Astro, and Roger Manning are just about to blast off on another adventure in outer space. There they go. Say, how'd you like to have a picture of that? A picture that would show your favorite space cadets in action. You can, you know. All you have to do is collect the Space Cadet picture cutouts you find on the back of every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep. Soon you'll have picture cutouts of all the Space Cadets. You can cut them out and use them in your own Space Cadet adventures. Here's the latest special prize you get with every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep. Just look on the back of the package. Right there, you'll see a swell picture made from an actual photograph. Each cutout is a full-length picture, too, so you can see the official Space Academy uniform. You see Dr. Dale in her full-dress uniform. Another package shows you Roger Manning wearing a spacesuit, the same kind the cadets wear out in space or on another planet. Astro and Tom are in uniform, too, all ready for you to set up in a Space Cadet scene. And remember, that picture cutout comes with the best-tasting whole wheat and malt cereal you ever tasted. Just rustle those flavorful wheat flakes into your cereal bowl tomorrow morning. You'll say the swellest cereal in the whole solar system is Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
In an attempt to discover the whereabouts and identity of a gang of men who plan to raid the space lanes, Tom, Roger, and Astro volunteer for a supposedly routine training flight in the rocket cruiser Polaris, hoping to lure the gang into a trap.
Well, this is Marsport. Here's your last chance to be a hero, Astro. Nothing happened on Luna or Venus, and nothing will happen here either, Roger.
It certainly won't if Roger and I keep you surrounded like this. Listen, Astro, we'll kind of evaporate. You make like Mirko and amble around the spaceport alone.
I've ambled around almost every spaceport in the inner solar system, Tom, and all I've got to show for it is sore feet.
That's the only place you've got any feeling, leadhead. Come on, Roger. But don't worry, Astro. We'll be near to protect you.
Go blow your jets. Well, here we go again.
Hey, got a match?
Sorry.
Michael?
Oh, maybe I have.
Here, take these matches. Light one for me.
Oh, okay. You're making the contact?
I ain't out for the walk. Hey, watch it. You almost blind me. What are you so nervous about?
Oh, I was thinking. Corbett and Manning. They're around here someplace.
Don't worry about them. Now listen. Walk around behind that far hangar. You'll see a little guy waiting there. Go with him. But go on. What are you waiting for?
What about Corbett and Manning?
I said forget about them. You just get going and lead them to us. We'll take care of them good.
Hey, Tom, look. Astro's leaving the spaceport. He's ducking behind that hangar.
Uh-huh. I think he's made contact. Come on, Roger, after him.
Hey, just a minute, fellas. Got a match?
No, sorry.
How about you?
No, let go of my arm.
You don't have to get so uppity. I just asked you.
All right, and I told you. Now blow, will you?
I'll show you fresh punks. Hey, fellas!
Hey, what gives?
Look, Roger, those three men. Pile in, boys. Watch yourself, Roger.
I can handle these jokers with one hand.
Get him, fellas. Slug him. Hey, the spaceport police. Come on, let's get out of here.
Come back here, you yellow space rats. What are you afraid of?
Knock it off, Roger. Let's get after Astro.
Astro? Jumping Jupiter. I almost forgot about him. Let's blast.
He went around this hangar. See him?
No sign of Astro anywhere, Tom. What do we do now?
Nothing we can do but go back to the Polaris and hope Astro shows up.
Here he is, Bill. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Okay. You can take his blindfold off now, Nicky.
There you are, Michael.
Hey, what's the idea, Bill? They made me keep this blindfold on all the way from Marsport.
Well, now, lad, we couldn't take no chances. You might be the other one.
Astro? Well, this should make you change your mind.
Neo RDX.
That's right. Convinced now?
Let's see.
Well?
Yeah. This looks like the stuff, all right. Well, you know how it is, Mirko. We had to make sure. This is a big deal we're in. Real big.
Yeah, I know. Listen, Bill, when do we start operating?
That's none of your business, Mirko.
Oh, now, look, why all the secrecy with me? I'm risking my neck for you guys. I even killed a man.
You're being well paid for it. Here. Here's your money.
Oh, thanks.
Nicky will take you back to your ship. When you get back to the academy, contact me and I'll tell you where to pick up the next load. Now I know you're okay. We'll carry on the way we started.
Okay. So long, Bill.
Be good, kid. Yeah, Beale here.
Beale, this is Valdor.
Yes, sir. Did you watch him through the teleceiver I hooked up?
Yes, he looked like Mirko.
Sure. I guess we were too suspicious.
Wait. Did you notice he didn't try to get more out of you this time? He didn't even count what you gave him.
Yeah. See, that's right. He's okay, though. He brought us the Neo RDX.
Place it directly in front of the teleceiver lens so I can see it clearly.
It's the right stuff.
Do as I tell you.
Okay, Valdor. See? It's the right
Where
stuff.
are the detonators?
Huh?
The detonators, you fool. That explosive can't be set off without the special detonators.
Well, you ain't here.
Get Mirko back, hurry.
Too late. They just took off.
There's a radio in the jet boat. Call Nicky at once and tell him to bring Mirko back.
Roger, wait!
Roger, look. It's Astro.
The old Venusian hillbilly himself. Space boy, we were worried about you. We're in blazes. Look, fellas, no time to talk now. We gotta blast off fast. Come on.
Why? What's the rush? What happened?
Beale must have noticed by now I didn't bring the detonators. I pulled the audio wire in Nicky's jet boat, so Beale couldn't call him, but they might have other contacts here. Come on. Climb into the airlock and let's blast.
All right now, Astro. Let's find out if you're still in the gang's confidence. Contact Beale.
Yes, Commander Arthur.
And you two boys, stay absolutely quiet.
Yes, sir. FC-394, Mirko calling Beale. Come in, Beale. FC-394, Mirko to Beale. Come in.
Beale here. Listen, Mirko, what happened to the detonators?
Uh-oh, they're what?
Quiet, Roger.
The what?
The detonators. The little ball-like caps made out of vanadium. The explosive's no good without them.
I don't know anything about them, Beale.
You must have got them with the Neo-RTX.
All they found in the locker was the package I brought up to you.
Sure?
Positive.
Blast those jokers. They've messed it up then. Well, they'll have to get us a double supply this time. Now listen, Mirko. Here are your orders.
Go ahead.
Thursday night, you slip out of the academy. At 9:40, a westbound monorail leaves the village heading for Atom City. Get on it. Sit in the second car from the end. A bet?
A westbound monorail at 9:40 Thursday. Right. Then what?
You'll be contacted on the car. When you get the stuff, secure it behind the rudder assembly on the next Academy rocket ship, making a training flight to main solar ports. Then relay is scheduled to me. Check?
Check.
Right then. That's all. So long, Mirko.
You know, Tom, riding around the monorail train like this is a lot of fun. But has any one of these monorails ever fallen off the track?
Well, not that I know of.
Well, looks kind of dangerous hanging from that one rail going at this speed.
Relax, will you? We've got bigger worries.
Hey, we're slowing down. Think maybe something will happen here?
Let's hope so.
Where's Astro?
Still in the car ahead. Oh, keep your face on that newspaper now. We're stopping.
Not too many people getting on.
But one important guy is getting on.
Who?
Nicky, that character that picked a fight with us at Marsport.
Oh, great.
Roger, Nicky just motioned to Astro.
Yeah, and Astro's getting up, walking to the door.
Nicky's right alongside. They're getting off. Come on.
We getting off, too?
What do you think? Hurry.
But Nicky may spot us.
We'll have to take that chance. Maybe if we move fast enough and duck behind one of the station pillars, he won't.
Might work. It's kind of dark out there.
Move fast, Roger.
All set.
Come on. Down these steps. Duck behind here and hold still.
Right. You see Astro?
Wait a minute. Hey!
What's the matter?
Nicky tricked us. He and Astro didn't get off.
Jumping Jupiter. There goes the monorail. And Astro's on it. What's the matter with you, Nicky? Can't you make up your mind? Why didn't we get off?
Because I changed my mind. That's why, Mirko. Now move up into the front car.
Why?
'Cause I tell you.
Wait a minute. Who do you think you're ordering around?
You, Buster. You think I didn't recognize those two jokers in the back car? They were Corbett and Manning.
What? But
Yeah,
I didn't...
yeah, I know. You said you ducked them. But I just made sure you did. Now move.
Well, what's in the front car?
Exactly what you're after, Mirko. And maybe a little more. Okay, cross over.
Well, what now? There's nobody here.
Sure there is, Mirko, my boy.
Beale. Well, you fellas sure do a lot of traveling.
This trip was worth it. I made it special, just to introduce you to someone you've been wanting to meet.
Who?
The name is Valdor.
Valdor?
Yes, Beale tells me you've been rather curious about me.
You're the head of this whole operation.
That's right, Mirko, and I must confess I've been curious about you, too.
Have?
Yes, and the answer to one question will satisfy my curiosity, Mirko.
Oh, well, go ahead. Shoot.
When and where did you meet our friend Beale?
Why, it was back home on Venus. We did a job together, and that's all.
It certainly is for you, Astro.
Why, you dirty space crawler.
Watch him.
I am. Hold still, big boy.
I'll burn a hole through you with this heat ray.
So you thought you could trap me, Astro, by using the same trick by masquerading as your cousin Mirko?
You're already trapped, Valdor. The Solar Guard knows all about you.
How could they when you didn't even know?
Tom and Roger saw me on this monorail, and they saw Nicky, too.
Your friends are far behind, and when they finally catch up to you, it'll be too late.
You think so, huh?
I know so. In a very few minutes, we will pass over a high chasm. There'll be a drop of some 400 or 500 feet, and this spells an accident. An extremely fatal accident.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Listen to those giant presses. They're turning out new, completely new packages for the Kellogg Company. Each package is in bright new colors, gay new pictures. And do you know what's going into those packages? Kellogg cereals. A big selection of the world's finest breakfast foods, yours in new picture packages. You want to see all the new faces on the Kellogg's. You want to try all the swell Kellogg cereals. And just for an example, listen to this. On the back of every regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep, there's a picture of one of the Space Cadets or Dr. Dale. It's a full-length picture cutout showing one of the official Space Academy uniforms. You can get as many as 4 different picture cutouts because different Pep packages have different cutouts. But one thing is still the same, and that's the swell whole wheat cereal you get inside. See other Kellogg packages at your game.
Did you see what play? In brand new boxes, bright and gay, these famous cereals come your way. Go see this eyeful. The Kellogg's All-Star Breakfast Show has a cheerful look, a lift for you. Starts you off with a hoop-de-doo. Kellogg's for breakfast and a happy, happy day. Get a big supply today.
Yes, get a big supply today of the great Kellogg cereals in their bright new boxes.
As the monorail trail hurtles through the night, suspended from a single gleaming rail and rapidly nears a wide, deep chasm, Astro faces death at the hands of the men he tried to trap. But meanwhile, some distance behind in a single monorail car speeding along a parallel track, Tom and Roger try desperately to catch up to their friend.
Can't you make this old crate go faster, Tom? She's wide open, Roger. Don't worry, we're picking up time on that train.
I still say we should have commandeered an autojet. We would have caught up by now.
And how would we have gotten aboard the train? No, Commander Arkwright picked the best idea. Lucky this work car was parked on the siding at that last station.
Well, all right, but suppose another train shows up on this track. We'll be in great shape then.
The commander said he'd see that all traffic was cleared for us. Now stop griping, will you?
Okay, but blasted, I wish we'd spot that train.
Wait, there it is. See those red lights?
Great galaxy, that's it. Come on, we've got to catch up. We can't miss now.
Close to the chasm. Less than a minute away. Very good. Open this side door, Beale, and you, Nicky, stand by the door between the cars. See that none of the passengers interrupt us.
All right, Valdo.
Door's open, Valdo. Thank you, Beale. Move up to it, Astro.
Oh, no, I won't.
Take your choice. Jump by yourself or be thrown out.
All right, big shot. You throw me if you can.
Easily done. Beale, the parallel ray. Freeze him first.
Wait a minute, Valdo. It's another monorail catching up on the next track.
What?
Someone in the front cabin. It's that cadet, Corbett.
Tom!
And the other one's leaning out of the side door. The car's coming alongside.
Gangway! Stop him quickly! Come on, Astro! Jump for it!
Now you jump.
Out of my way, Junior! Come on, Astro! What are you waiting for? Not a thing, pal. Here I come!
Well, if it hadn't been for you guys, I'd be flying through 500 feet of nothing right now. Those guys really meant business.
Well, they're going bankrupt in a few minutes, Astro. As soon as their monorail stops at the next station, they'll get an escort of honor. A squad of solar guards.
Suppose they jumped the train before that.
Now, where'll they jump? Straight down? Not a chance. The whole gang is wrapped up for good.
Hey, those words are music to my ears. Jupiter, I'm glad this operation is over.
It isn't yet, Astro. Tom and I saw another one of your relatives, and they looked real mean.
What? Where?
Early this evening, when we passed the zoo.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, when Tom and Roger are ordered to guard a huge sum of money and find themselves blasting through space with an escort of death. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Spaceman, this is Tom Corbett. Thousands of families have been driven from their homes by the floods in the Midwest, and they need our help now. And money from you and your parents will help them in this terrible emergency. So give to the Red Cross.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Carter Blake, Joe DeSantis, and Gilbert Mack. Today's program was written by Ben Peter Freeman, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Bake speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. The preceding was transcribed. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting.
Escape tonight to ancient Egypt.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations presents Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the sixth, is The Ring of Thoth by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Wherever the English language is spoken, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is known for two things: his immortal character Sherlock Holmes and his unshakable belief in life beyond the grave. So great is the stature of Sherlock Holmes that Conan Doyle's earlier stories are all but forgotten. Stories like The Ring of Thoth, which so clearly anticipates the author's later fascination with spiritualism. We invite you now to escape to ancient Egypt and The Ring of Thoth, an adventure told in the words of John Vansittart Smith, British Egyptologist.
I arrived in Paris on the 3:14 express from Dieppe and went immediately to my hotel in the Rue de Lafitte. My actions so far had worked out according to my planned schedule. I slept for exactly 2 hours, got up and dressed, donned a greatcoat, walked down the Avenue de l'Opéra, and entered the side door of the Louvre. Once inside, and amid surroundings entirely familiar to me, I made my way immediately to the Chamber of Egyptian Relics, or more specifically, to the cabinet in that chamber which contained the El Kab collection of papyri. Drawing out the particular roll I wished, I placed it on a nearby table, sat down, began to study it, when I noticed one of the museum attendants who was polishing some brasswork across the room. His face struck me as being curiously Egyptian. On sudden impulse, I decided to cross the room and speak to him. Approaching closer, I was impressed at once by the appearance of his skin. Drawn tautly across temple and cheek, it seemed as glazed and as shiny as varnished parchment, and out of narrowed slits there glowed two green and vitreous eyes, misty with a dry shininess, eyes of a kind never seen in a human head before. I beg your pardon. I need one of the papyri from the Memphis collection. Could you tell me where it is?
You'll find it in the last cabinet at the end of the room, monsieur.
Thank you. You're Egyptian, aren't you?
No, monsieur. I am a Frenchman.
But, I thought perhaps...
If Monsieur will excuse me now, I have other work to do.
I went back to the table and took up the papyrus I had been studying before. But my former calmness in translating the intricate hieroglyphics was gone, and out of the depths of my mind welled a feeling of terrible familiarity. I concentrated more deeply on my studies, pushing aside those thoughts conducive to mental turmoil, and at last, worn out by the inward struggle, I fell asleep. I awoke with a start, not remembering where I was. It was quite dark for a moment. Then gradually my eyes focused on the glints of moonlight reflected from the glass tops of specimen tables, from the shiny varnish of the mummy cases. And I realized with a feeling of sudden dread that I was alone in the Egyptian room of the Museum of the Louvre, locked in for the night. And I saw at that moment, approaching through the moonlit halls, a dim yellow flame. Nearer and nearer it came until I could perceive above it, as though floating in the air, the eerie, glistening face of the man I'd spoken to earlier. I shrank into the dark shadow of my corner, and he passed without seeing me, stopping before the mummy cases a few yards away. Scarcely daring to breathe, I watched him place the light on a table and begin feverishly to examine the tags on the specimens. In a moment, he gave a cry of delight, and, drawing one of the mummies from its resting place, laid it on the table in the full glow of the lantern and set to work. He was unwinding the wrappings from the head of the corpse. A few turns revealed a tumbled cascade of black curls. A few more, the snow-white brow, then the delicate nostrils, and at last, the full, warm, passionate lips, the face of the most beautiful woman the world has ever seen.
Ah, ma pauvre petite. So long it has been. So very long. You must forgive me, beloved.
I could hardly believe my eyes. The man was obviously in love with this mummy. After a while, he left the body, turning his attention to one of the glass cases filled with an assortment of rings. From a pocket of his garment, he'd taken a small glass bottle containing some kind of liquid, and he used this now to test the rings, rejecting them one after another. Then, at last...
This is it. It's the one. At last I found it. The ring of Thoth.
In his excitement, he dropped the bottle, and I gasped in surprise at the sudden sound.
Who's there?
I beg your pardon.
Oh. So it is you. No, do not move.
I didn't mean to spy on you. I fell asleep.
Who are you, monsieur?
I am John Vansittart Smith, a student of Egyptology.
No matter. You will observe this knife.
Yes.
Had I discovered you 5 minutes ago, monsieur, I should have slain you without a word.
What?
As it is now, I have found the ring. But I warn you not to interfere with me in any way.
I really haven't the slightest intention of it. After all, I'm only here by accident.
Perhaps.
I say, you shouldn't have unwrapped that mummy, you know. It's starting to deteriorate already.
Oh, my beloved.
Yes, before our eyes, the lovely face was crumbling, the hair falling away, the skin shriveling and cracking, the lips fading. The man hovered over the decaying body a moment, murmuring sorrowfully. And then he turned again.
No matter. That will not make the least difference in a little while. Of what importance is the dead shell, so long as her spirit waits for me at the other side of the veil?
What are you talking about? What is it you're proposing to do?
Tonight, monsieur, I have ended a quest and broken at last the ancient curse. Nothing now can prevent my joining her.
Are you actually claiming that you knew her?
She was Atma, daughter of the governor of Abaris, and both she and I lived in the reign of Tutmosis 3,500 years ago.
You're obviously mad.
Perhaps, but not in the way you think. There may be design in this, your coming here. It may be decreed that I should leave some account behind as a warning to other mortals as rash as myself. Very well, then. So be it. I am, as you surmised, an Egyptian. My name was Sasra, and my father had been the chief priest of Osiris in the great temple of Abaris, which stood in those days upon the Bubastic branch of the Nile. I was brought up in the temple and was trained in all those mystic arts and sciences known to the priesthood. Of all the mysteries that I studied, none intrigued me more than the question of life and death. And even to this question, in time, I found an answer.
But for a man to live beyond his allotted span of years, Master Sastra, the gods have not so ordained it.
Then perhaps they will have to revise their ordinances now that I've discovered their secret.
'Tis not well to jest. I tremble, for though I've labored in your service for a year, I knew not the goal of your endeavors. May Osiris forgive me.
Ah, what a pity you look upon it this way. For I'd thought that in return for your assistance, I should grant you, too, the gift of centuries of indestructible life.
I would not have it, Master Sastra. And I beg that you, too, forgo it.
Forgo it? I introduced the fluid into my veins 1 month ago.
Oh, no. Then you are lost indeed.
Lost? Do you call this being lost? Let's see now. My heart should be about here.
Oh, that knife. No, don't. Master, you've killed yourself.
Not at all. See? It bleeds a little. But in a while, the wound will close up. And that's all.
It's immortality.
No. I shall not live forever. But for 5,000, perhaps 6,000 years, I shall be immune from all dangers of violence, poison, disease, starvation.
You cannot die?
Now, with this fluid in my veins, nothing in this world can end my life.
Sasra, are you there?
Someone called.
It's Parmes, the priest of Thoth. In here, my friend. Enter.
Oh. Greetings, Sasra, master of sciences, and his worthy assistant.
If you will excuse me, masters, I go to make my peace with Osiris.
What's wrong with your helper, Sasra?
The thought of a well-nigh eternal life has frightened him into gibbering superstition.
Then you still believe in the discovery?
Believe in it? Parmes, my friend. Look.
By the heavens, what a scar.
It pierces the heart. It was done only a moment ago with this knife. See? I can put it back in the wound. So.
You suffered no ill effects?
None whatever.
And if I turn the knife in the wound, that would do you no harm?
You may try it. I feel nothing. I walked last week in the snake pits by the river, was struck innumerable times. It caused no harm.
By the great Anubis.
Will you have it then? Out of all Egypt, I have chosen only you, my friend, to share the gift. But the choice is yours.
I'd be a fool to refuse, Sasra. I'll have it. And now, what must I do?
First, we must open a vein in your wrist, like this. Then, we drip the elixir slowly into your bloodstream. Steady now.
I don't feel anything.
There is no sensation. It is done.
So simple? There is nothing more?
That's all. And now done, it can never be changed.
It seems incredible, supernatural.
It's no more than a chemical discovery, but with it, while all this about us passes away, you and I, Parmes, will live on for 50 centuries, Think of it, my friend. 5,000 years of life.
5,000 years. Only the two of us.
Listen, that noise. Some procession must be passing in the street.
I have an idea what it may be. Come on over to the window.
Beloved of heaven, clear the road, stand back, and make way for the loveliest pearl of Thebes.
She's being carried on the shoulders of slaves, Parmes. She must be some woman of rank.
Her name is Atma. She's the daughter of the new governor.
Her curtains are drawn back. Perhaps we'll have a look at her. Oh, Parmes.
Mm-hmm. Is she not beautiful?
She is the most desirable, the only utterly desirable woman I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. I saw her yesterday at the temple.
Then you're most fortunate, my friend. You've had 24 more hours to dream about her than I've had. I must know her, Parmes. I must make her love me. I'll send gifts. I'll call on her tomorrow. Oh, it has to be then. I couldn't wait any longer than tomorrow.
Upon the beloved of the universe. He is Sasra, priest of the temple of Osiris.
Well, bid him approach.
Enter, Sasra.
Oh, most beautiful of all Egypt, I cast myself at your feet.
That's a noble ambition. But wouldn't it be much better to sit here beside me and watch the fish in the fountain?
Much better.
You will all withdraw, except you, my girl. Play something for us, at a distance. Well, Sasra, for so I understand you're called, am I to deem this an official visit by a master of the temple?
Oh, Atma, my beloved. That is, no, it is not official.
Oh? Perhaps then you wish to see my father on personal business of your own.
Oh, no. No. I shall pay my respects to him at some other time.
Then could it be I you've come to see?
Yes.
And since you've said the visit's not official, your reason must be a personal one.
Oh, it is.
Well, what is it?
Atma, I have known women who are famed for their beauty throughout the valley of the Nile. But not one, not all of them, are so lovely as you.
How thoughtful of you to come here and tell me.
Atma, I've no wish to intrude my desires, my hopes, beyond such extent as you may wish to hear. But, I'm finding this very difficult.
Sasra, I've been told that you're a master of science, that you've unlocked the secrets of the universe, learned all the mysteries of nature itself.
Your informants have been most generous.
Yes, I'm inclined to think so.
Why?
Because you've discovered nothing at all about such a simple thing as a woman's heart.
What do you mean?
I come from Thebes. And the women of Thebes are warm-blooded, passionate, and we know what we want.
Atma.
I saw you first 3 days ago. Why do you think I told my bearers to carry me down that street beneath your window?
And so, miracle of all miracles, Atma loved me. Worshipping the very ground her feet had trod upon, I lived through those glorious weeks, and with it all, our love grew apace. But one thing bore heavily upon my mind, and I came to speak of it more often to my beloved as we sat and talked by the fountain in her garden.
Look, Sasra. See how the stars shine from the water?
Yes, Atma. More lovely even than their glow in the heavens.
Are they very old, the stars?
Very old, beloved. As old as time.
And they'll go on gleaming there. Long years after you and I are gone and forgotten.
Atma, my dearest, we've talked of this before, and I know it distresses you to think of it.
No, Sasra. Tonight everything is beautiful. We shall not talk of death.
Not of death, but of life. They're only counterparts of one another.
Oh, if we could only live together. Grow old together and die in the same instant.
But how much better to live and love 5,000 years? Will you not do it? Does so long a time seem too great for the love you feel for me?
Beloved, no. The time would pass in an instant, and the loss then be no easier borne than now.
Then why draw back? Will you not take the elixir now, tonight?
I'm afraid, Sasra. We'll anger the gods.
We will outlive the gods.
They will have their revenge.
Whatever occurred, we'd be together.
Yes, I've thought of that. Were it not so, I'd not even consider doing it.
Then you'll do it. Atma, you'll do it.
I need more time, only a little more to assure myself.
How much?
Tonight, Sasra. Give me tonight.
Every hour you live without the elixir is another hazard. All right, then. Tonight. And may Isis herself guard over you until the fluid courses in your veins. And so, on that accursed night, I went to my chambers and slept. And while I slept, the moon of Isis shone over the delta of the Nile. Shone but to light as foul a scene as was ever done on earth. Some hours had passed away.
Master Sasra, awaken! Master, awaken at once.
No. Who is it?
Oh, what a terrible thing has transpired this night.
You're one of Atma's slaves. Why do you come here?
Oh, Master.
What has happened? What's the matter? Speak.
It is she, the light of the world.
Tell me what has happened to her.
Master. Brigands came in the night. She is dead.
You lie. Oh,
Sasra, the slave speaks the truth.
Parmes, my friend. What foul joke's behind these words of his?
It's not a joke. Atma is dead. You, slave, depart from us.
Yes, masters. By your gracious leave, I depart.
Such a thing cannot be. Oh, of course. The two of you planned it together, sought to frighten me out of my wits. It's very amusing, really. But I was terrified for a moment.
Atma no longer lives. She was stabbed to death only a short while ago.
No. Oh, no. She can't be dead.
She is dead, Sosra, and for all eternity.
I must go to her. Surely something can be done.
I killed her.
What is it? What has happened?
I killed her.
Oh.
I struck her through the heart with this very knife.
You, Parmes. Why?
Because she loved you.
Why?
And because I loved her.
You, my friend.
She would not look at me.
And for that you would lose her to both of us forever?
To both of us, Sosra? I think not.
By the living Osiris, give me that knife.
That's it. Strike. Again. Here's the heart. Here, strike. Again and again, Sosra.
Wait. What foolishness. I cannot kill you.
You're wrong, Sosra. You have killed me. Those were grievous blows.
But the fluid, that cursed elixir of life, it runs in your veins as well as mine.
True. But in mine is also the antidote.
You lie. There is no antidote.
Yes, day and night. These many weeks I've worked, and I found it.
You couldn't have. Is there more of it?
Yes, a very little. But you'll never find it.
Where is it? Tell me where it is.
In the ring, Sasha. In the ring of Thoth. And you'll never find it.
I will. I must.
Go on. Live your 50 centuries. And every hour of them, think. It was your hand that struck me down. With the same knife that took her from you. Think while I go to join her.
Oh, no. You're not dead. You're not. No. 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 For months, I searched the papers, test tubes, and the chemical flasks in the chambers of the dead priest of Thoth. Searched and found nothing. I sifted the sands where he'd walked, questioned his slaves and servants, and learned nothing. Every moment of my life, my terrible and unwanted life, was devoted to an unceasing hunt for the ring of Thoth, and all to no avail. And in time, a horde of barbarians overran the city of Abaris, and the sands of the desert buried forever the last of my hopes. And so began the deadly march of the centuries. How can you know how terrible a thing time is? You, who've experienced only the narrow course between the cradle and the grave. I've floated down the whole stream of history. I have traveled in all lands, and I have dwelt with all nations. Every tongue is the same to me. I need not tell you how slowly the centuries drifted by. Centuries without end. Years without number. And so, I came to be one day, a few weeks past, in San Francisco, where I came across a certain item in a newspaper.
Among recent discoveries in Lower Egypt is an unopened mummy case containing, according to the inscription on the outside, the body of the daughter of the governor of Abaris in the days of Thutmosis. In the same burial crypt, dropped into a crevice between the stones, was found a large platinum ring of singular design. Both specimens have been sent for examination to the Louvre in Paris.
So, I presume you came here to Paris, obtained this position of attendant in the Louvre with the idea of...
Only yesterday, Monsieur Smith. As you may imagine, I had little difficulty in convincing the director of my knowledge of Egyptian relics.
The ring, then. The one I saw you remove from the case is the ring of Thoth?
Without question.
You've discovered how the ring must be used?
The secret is obvious. See, the stone is hollow, and drops of liquid move within it.
Have you considered the possibility...
Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are aboard the deluxe passenger spaceship, the Supernova, headed for the planet Saturn. As they enter a private compartment in search of a criminal, an occupant of the compartment pulls a ray gun on them.
Just keep moving down the corridor, Commander.
We're going to a lot of trouble. You must be counting on taking quite a lot of money from Grayson.
Think what you like. All right, hold it. This is where we part company. I just opened this little metal door. Now, crawl in there, both of you.
You can't put us in there. That's the ship's rubbish disposal chute.
I know what it is. Get in.
But before we reach Saturn, that chute will be emptied into space.
Of course. A blast of compressed air will sweep you out of the ship, and no one will know you're gone.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Trouble Aboard the Supernova. Say, do you hear that, Space Patrollers? That's a flavor tester, an instrument for finding out how good breakfast cereals are. I'm standing in a grocery store right now, so let's run the flavor tester along this cereal shelf. Well, there's no flavor in these cereals. I'm not getting a peek from our flavor tester. Uh-oh, it's starting now. Hey, the flavor tester's going wild, and here's the cereal that's doing it. Rice Chex, the super cereal that helps to supercharge you. Yeah, I better turn this flavor tester off before it jumps out of my hand. Yes, sir, gang, for wonderful flavor, wonderful Rice Chex. Crisp, golden, bite-sized biscuits you'll love. Try some today. Delicious Rice Chex. And remember, inside the package, there's a magic space picture. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Trouble Aboard the Supernova. One of the most important industrial concerns in the United Planets is solar technique. Its research staff has been responsible for hundreds of discoveries in many fields of industry, and their achievements have increased the comfort and security of people on all the planets. Solar technique is noted for its generosity in making its processes available not only to the government, but to other companies as well. Our story opens in the office of Clark Ruckler, the assistant coordinator of solar technique on the man-made planet Terra. Ruckler is talking to one of his young field men, Mark Grayson.
I can't impress this on you too strongly, Grayson. These documents are to be delivered to the supervisor of our Saturn plant and to no one else. Is that clear?
Yes, Mr. Ruckler.
Actually, my chief wanted me to deliver this microfilm strip myself, but for the time being, I can't leave Terra, so I'm turning the assignment over to you.
Well, I'm very grateful for the opportunity, Mr. Ruckler.
Frankly, I had to do a lot of talking to convince the chief that you could be trusted.
I appreciate that very much. I know my record wasn't too good before coming here to Solar Technic, but in the past 3 years...
Know your record here, and keep it clean. Now, here's the procedure. We'll blast off for Saturn tomorrow evening in 1800 hours aboard the Supernova. The strip of microfilm will be concealed in a special ring which the chief will give you tomorrow. That ring can be removed from your finger only by turning the setting in a certain way.
Well, like a combination lock.
Yes, but don't fool with it. The Saturn supervisor will remove it when you report to him. The information's extremely vital to solar technique, so don't tell anyone. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
All right, Walbert, come in.
Did you get a look at Grayson?
Yeah.
Through the crack of the door. I can handle him all right.
If you do what I tell you, rough stuff won't be necessary. But carry a ray gun just in case.
Sure. He'll be in compartment 23, huh?
Mm-hmm. Don't get acquainted with him too quickly. Somewhere between the Earth and Mars orbit will be soon enough. He's crazy about chess. Suggest a game in your compartment or his.
Then I slip something in his coffee to put him to sleep and take the ring.
Right. Here's the duplicate. Put it on his finger. Then your part is over except for meeting me on Saturn.
What's going to keep Grayson from suspecting me? And the Saturn supervisor finds there's no microfilm in the ring.
A couple of muscle men will grab him before he gets to the Saturn plant. They'll rough him up and take the ring. Grayson will think they're the thieves.
Do you think you can peddle the microfilm without getting cut?
I've got that end all covered. Grayson will have to take the rap. With that past record of his, the chief will figure he faked the robbery.
But you recommended Grayson to carry the microfilm.
Yes. So I'll regretfully submit my resignation for having made such a costly mistake to the company. I'll resign from solar technique.
Yeah, and live like a king on what we get for the microfilm.
What it is for a chance like this. And with your help, Walbert, it'll pay off without it.
Wow, a trip to Pluto on the Supernova. This isn't a mission, sir. It's a vacation.
I want it to look like a vacation, Happy. That's why we're in civilian clothes. But we'll have plenty of work to do when we reach Pluto. Uh-oh.
What is it, sir?
I just recognized one of the passengers. He's on the other side of the crowd. I don't want him to see us.
Who is it?
I can't recall his name right now, but he used to do a lot of space traveling on passenger ships a few years ago. For the result that a lot of the passengers found the trip more expensive than they'd planned.
You mean he's a thief?
Not that we could prove it. He'd get people into a friendly game of cards or chess, and they'd have a surprising run of luck. Grayson. That's it, Mark. Grayson. He hasn't been in trouble lately, so he may have gone straight, but it won't hurt to keep an eye on him. If you see him getting too chummy with any of the passengers.
The gate's opening, sir.
When we get aboard, we'll go right to our compartment. It's number 22.
I didn't mean to be gone so long, Commander. I lost track of the time.
That's all right, Happy. I won't need you for a few minutes, then. I'm just finishing a check of the Pluto Base Command report.
Know where we are now?
I'd say we're about 50,000 DUs outside the Earth's orbit.
Good guess, sir. 45,000. I've been watching the big chart in the Astro Lounge. It shows the progress of the ship.
Is our friend Grayson in there?
Well, he came in just as I was leaving. Want me to check on him, Commander?
Wait a while, Happy. In half an hour or so, you might go into the lounge. It would be rather embarrassing if someone was swindled with a Space Patrol Commander-in-Chief aboard.
I see what you mean. We don't seem to be making much time.
How's that?
Well, I was just noticing the astro chart. The ship doesn't seem to be moving.
Oh. Well, there's a lot of space out here.
Yes, yes, indeed. A great deal of space, I'd say. Your first trip on the Supernova?
Well, my first in a long time.
Oh, we seem to be the only passengers out.
I've noticed.
Well, for some reason, I can never sleep when I'm traveling. It's strange when you consider I do a lot of it. I average about 2 trips a week. Warbot's the name. Clarence Warbot. I'm with the Transograph people.
Transograph?
Yeah, you probably never heard of it. We make special code machines for firms conducting interplanetary business.
That's a very interesting work.
It is. By the way, I didn't catch the name.
Oh, Grayson. Martian.
Oh, glad to know you, Grayson. It's nice to have an intelligent man to talk to. That is, if you don't mind talking.
No, not at all.
You know, I like you, Grayson. Looks like this isn't going to be such a dull trip after all. Maybe I would even miss my game of three-dimensional chess.
Three-dimensional chess?
Yeah. I don't suppose you play it.
Well, I used to. Once in a while.
Well, now, isn't this a coincidence? But it is rather late, and you're probably tired.
Oh, no. No, not at all.
Well, if you like, we could have the steward bring in a projector board, and maybe we could go to my compartment.
We could play a game right here in the lounge.
All right. I see we got company. That young fellow who just came in.
Oh, well, he won't bother us.
Well, maybe not, but I hate to be in the middle of the play and have him come out and start asking stupid questions. You know how these youngsters are, full of curiosity.
Well, we could play in my compartment.
Oh, fine. I'll have the steward bring out some nice hot coffee and a projector. Commander, it looks like Grayson is up to his old tricks.
That's so?
Yes, sir. He and this older man are in Grayson's compartment across the corridor. And the steward brought in a three-dimensional chess set.
3D chess isn't such a popular game. It's rather odd that Grayson should just happen to find such a congenial partner right off the bat. I think he may have had his man marked for some time. Still, we haven't any grounds to interfere.
Well, maybe we could just happen in by mistake. You know, the wrong compartment.
I'll keep that idea in mind.
It's your move, Grayson. Grayson, I played. Grayson?
Oh, good. He's asleep now.
Trying to get the ring off of his finger because... Gentlemen, I'm afraid you have the wrong compartment.
I don't think so. Isn't that three-dimensional chess you're playing?
Yeah, that's right. My companions seem to have dozed off.
I see. He must trust you to be so relaxed. An old friend, no doubt.
No, I just met him. But I don't see what business it is of yours.
Well, no offense. I'd like to ask a question. Who was winning?
Well, for someone who blundered into the wrong compartment, you got a lot of nerve.
It wasn't a blunder. Take a look at this.
Place the probe back.
Now, for your own good, tell me. Was he winning?
Yes, he was.
Very much?
Oh, quite a bit. Why?
This man used to make quite a good living playing chess with strangers. Apparently he still does.
You mean he... Oh, no. He went to sleep, if he's dishonest. Wouldn't he stay awake?
I doubt that he's as sleepy as you pretend. He figures you're an honest man who'll quietly go away and leave his winnings on the table. Happy?
Yes, sir.
Close the door. We'll wake Mr. Grayson. Come on, Grayson, wake up. I want to ask you a few questions. Come on, Grayson, wake up.
You're wasting your time, gentlemen. Get your hands up and turn around. Commander.
Gotta do as he says, Happy. He has a ray gun. So you knew who Grayson was and outsmarted him.
That's right. I outsmarted Grayson. Now keep your hands up, both of you. I'll see if anyone is out in the corridor. All clear. Come on. Now, no trick, either of you. Just go down the corridor. All right. Hold it. This is where we part company, gentlemen. I'll just open this little metal door. Now, crawl in there.
You can't put us in there. It's a refuse disposal chute.
I know what it is. Climb in.
Before we reach Saturn, that chute will be emptied into space.
Of course. A blast of compressed air will sweep you out of the ship, and no one will know you're gone. And just to make sure... Commander! You do, Cadet. Wait. Look. And now I have to lift you into the chute. There, Commander. Now the Cadet. There, Space Patrolman. You'll be the first passengers to leave the supernova by way of the rubbish chute.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
Here's the secret Buzz Corey wants you to know about. The secret of how space patrollers get a rip-roaring start in the morning. Here's what they do. They eat a breakfast that supercharges them. A power breakfast with rice Chex or wheat Chex. Chex, the super cereal with that modern bite-sized design. The cereals with a swell new taste that you'll like right off the reel. Well, gang, now you know how space patrollers get that rip-roaring morning start. So get a flying start yourself every morning. Sit down to a nourishing breakfast with rice Chex or wheat Chex, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. And remember, you get a magic space picture inside every package.
And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, Trouble Aboard the Supernova. Buzz and Happy boarded the luxury spaceship, the Supernova, on a mission to Pluto. The commander noticed that among the passengers was Mark Grayson, formerly a petty cook, but now employed by the highly reputable Solar Technic firm. Grayson's superior, Clark Ruckler, has engineered events so that Grayson will be held responsible for the theft of valuable microfilm documents, which Grayson carries in a special ring on his finger. Ruckler's partner, Walbott, was about to remove the ring from Grayson's finger when Buzz and Happy entered Grayson's compartment on the spaceship. Pretending to be a victim of Grayson's supposed dishonesty, Walbott suddenly pulled a ray gun, and after rendering Buzz and Happy unconscious, pushed them into the refuse disposal chute of the big spaceship. Before the ship reaches Saturn, the contents of the chute will be blasted out into space. Now recovering from the effects of the ray gun, Buzz and Happy find themselves in the narrow confines of a small, big black room.
The opening must be right here, so I can feel a thin groove with the door push. Let's try to force it open. We've got to get out of here before they enter the chute.
It's no use.
Maybe somebody will hear us pounding and open the door. It's probably soundproof, Happy. Anyway, nobody will be out in the corridor at this time. But wait a minute. If that fellow that put us in here didn't search us, he left our money to his pocket. I don't have mine, so it's back in the compartment. I've got mine. Well, we can contact the captain of the ship and get out of here in 2 minutes. Then we can find the guy that put us in here and really give him a going over.
Now, hold on, Happy. There's more to this than the crooked chess game.
Huh?
He could just as easily have been locked up in a closet to give our man a chance to escape when he landed on Saturn. But this fellow was willing to get rid of us permanently.
Yeah, that's what makes me so mad.
When we get out of here, I don't want to know we've escaped. That'll give us a chance to find out what he really was doing in Grayson's compartment.
Maybe he's going to put Grayson in here, too.
Maybe. Let's see how quickly we can get out of here. Commander Corey calling Captain Ferris of the Supernova. Commander Corey calling Captain Ferris of the Supernova.
Captain Ferris, go ahead, Tim.
You know I'm aboard, I suppose.
Yeah, I noticed the NSA asked your name on the passenger list, so I followed through. No special attention.
I know, but I'm afraid I'm going to need a little special attention.
Anything to say, Commander?
Send the regular steward to the refuse disposal opening in passenger corridor A immediately. I'm in the chute.
I'll come myself.
Now, wait, Captain. Just send the steward. Don't want any excitement aboard the ship.
Very well, Commander.
Now, Captain, one thing.
Yeah.
Pass the word along not to open the chute until Cadet Happy and I are out of it.
Your move, Grayson.
What did you say?
I said it's your move.
Oh,
Oh, cool. Listen, excuse me, Will, but did I doze off? Oh, you hardly had time, I assure you. And if you had been asleep, I'd have taken the opportunity to take advantage of you. What? Oh, what's in there? Oh. Here. How do you like that? Check and mate. Ah, one again. And I thought I had you. You're a whiz at this 3D test, Grayson. I've never seen anything like it. Just luck, I guess. I wish I had that kind of luck. Well, we're both getting sleepy. You better turn in. We'll be on Saturn in about 3 hours. And thanks for the game. Honestly, I enjoyed losing.
Well, the game did me a lot of good. Believe me, with a lot of tension. There's nothing like a nice, quiet game.
The luggage is all packed, Commander.
Well, fine, Happy. We'll be landing in Saturn in 20 minutes. We'll wait till everybody else is off the ship before we leave our compartment.
What about Grayson?
I'd check on him to the captain. He's working for Solar Technic. One of the special guards is meeting him when the ship lands. The captain showed me the spaceogram. Well, 15 minutes till we land. If we get to Saturn headquarters, we'll space it from Pluto Base Command. That will be a few hours late.
Station 15, Cadet Happy here. No, Commander Corey isn't here. I think he's somewhere around Saturn headquarters, maybe. Yes, sir, I'll tell him. Oh, Commander, Major Harper called. He said Colonel Redding has been trying to reach him.
I just talked to him. He still has a detail watching Walbert. Walbert hasn't left the Saturn Space Hotel. He could check in.
Oh, yes, sir. But did you know that Grayson never arrived at the Saturn plant of Solar Technic?
Yes, I saw the report from the supervisor.
Well, what do you suppose happened to him? The uniformed guard from Solar Technic met Grayson at the spaceport.
No, I'll get it home. Station 15, Commander Corey here. Who? All right, send him in. Happy? You have a visitor.
Who, sir?
Under the circumstances, the last person you'd expect to walk into Saturn Space Patrol headquarters.
Who do you mean, sir? Grayson. Commander Corey?
Yes, Grayson. Sit down. Happy put on the recorder.
Yes, sir.
Grayson, you were due at Solar Technic plant 3 hours ago. Where have you been?
I've been robbed.
What about the guard who met you at the Supernova?
He was one of the robbers.
What was stolen from him?
The microphone. It was in a ring. I filed the ring off my finger. Here, look. You can see where they cut my finger there.
Now, wait a minute. The guard robbed you?
Yes. He and another man. A man in a red plastic mask. The guard and I were in a surface car driving down Avenue J when...
Now, hold it, Grayson. How does a man in a red plastic mask fit in?
He stepped out and hailed the surface car. The guard stopped. They drove me to Saturn City Park. Then the guard held me while the other man, the man in the red mask, filed off the ring. Then they drove me around a while and turned me loose. Look, I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth, honestly, Commander.
Happy, what do you think of the story?
Well, it seems to me that if the third man was in cahoots with the guard, he wouldn't have needed a mask. At least he wouldn't have worn one on the street.
But that's what happened. Don't you believe me? Look, if I were lying, why wouldn't I make up a more plausible story?
That's right. Possibly the fake guard and the masked man did take the ring after all.
I swear they did.
Okay. Who's Walbert?
A fellow I met on the Supernova. We played 3D chess in my compartment, yeah.
Anything unusual happened during the game?
Only that I won, and I hadn't played in 3 years.
Were there any interruptions? Did you fall asleep, for example?
No. And now that you mention it, I thought I got groggy for a minute. I thought I dozed off, but when I opened my eyes, there was Walbert smiling at me, waiting for me to move. It had only been a few seconds.
It had been quite a few seconds, Grayson. When I entered your compartment, you were sound asleep.
You were in my compartment? I never saw you until I came into this office 2 minutes ago.
While you were asleep, Walbert forced us into the refuse chute. And he came back and finished the game.
I can't believe it.
You want us to believe your story? Well, Grayson, you may be telling the truth. I'll put you in custody here at headquarters while Happy and I visit Walbert. First, give me a full description of that ring.
Well, it had a setting that you turn a certain way in the band string. Inside the band...
What are you doing here so soon?
As soon as I heard that Grayson didn't show up at the Saturn plant, I persuaded the chief I should come here to investigate. After all, I recommended Grayson.
But I thought you were going to wait till I contacted you.
Why waste the time? The Tony Guard and our masked man took care of Grayson.
But how do we know what Grayson will do?
If he has any sense, he'll get as far away from Saturn as he can. With his record, he'll believe he didn't arrange the robbery himself.
Suppose he's caught. If they give him a brainograph test, the Space Patrol will know he's telling the truth.
Yes, but he doesn't know all the truth. He doesn't know you removed the real ring aboard the Supernova and substituted the other.
That's right. And the two Space Patrolmen that saw me in Grayson's compartment, they're floating out beyond Saturn now.
Yes. The only thing Grayson can tell about you is that you played chess with him. Let the Space Patrol look for the fake guard and the guy with the red mask.
Yeah, nice touch, Rucker. Nice touch.
Yeah, thanks. Now, how about that ring and the microphone?
Yeah, I got it right here in my pocket.
You can have this.
I don't know. Get into the other room.
I'll be right.
Yeah?
Remember us, Mr. Walbert?
I don't believe so.
You put us in the rescue suite of the Supernova. Fortunately, we were able to get more roomy accommodation.
We got out of the shoe,
set the door happy, and search our chest there for weapons.
Yes. Oh, a ray gun. Looks familiar, too.
Mm-hmm. Find anything else of interest?
Not yet, sir.
Walbert, did you take a ring from Grayson?
A ring? I don't know what you're talking about.
You took some drastic measures to keep us from finding out what was going on in Grayson's compartment. Let's have the truth.
Oh, Commander,
Now, quit stalling. Where's the ring?
All right. My jacket pocket, the right one. It's in there.
Take a look at it.
That's the ring, all right. And it looks like the one Grayson described.
Watch him, Happy. I'll see if I can open it.
Yes, sir.
2 turns to the right. 3 to the left. 6 down and 7. Open. Here's the microphone.
Oh, even Grayson wasn't lying.
Good work, Commander. You saved me a nasty job. Who are you? I'm Clark Russell, assistant coordinator at Solar Technics, Terrell. Just how did you happen to be here? Well, I had reason to suspect this man Walbert. I came here because, frankly, I'm on the spot. I recommended Grayson. And I'm happy to know he's innocent. Now, if you'll just give me the microfilm, I'll see that it's delivered to our staff and representative. Well, just a minute. We'll all go down to headquarters. Well, if that's the way you want it. Get them, Walbert. Get to the desk.
I wouldn't try that, Walbert. Let go of that gun, Rustler.
No use continuing, Happy. The boys seem exhausted.
Yes, sir. Do you have the microfilm, sir?
You bet. We'll turn it over to the Saturn plant, hand Russell and Walbert over to the colonel, and then go on to Pluto.
Fine, Commander. But, sir,
Yes, huh?
Can't we go to Pluto in a plain Space Patrol cruiser?
Why? If you like luxury space liners like the Supernova?
Oh, they're all right, I guess, but the rubbish suits are a little tight under the arms.
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Gang, here's big news about the most fabulous Space Patrol equipment ever offered on this program. The Space Patrol Microscope. So powerful, it makes things look 15 times bigger than they really are. So compact, it fits right in your pocket. Offered for just a short time longer. Offered so you can see the thousands of secrets and mysteries hidden away in gardens, yards, and houses. Think of it. You get a complete scientific microscope kit. You get the official Space Patrol microscope. Strong, all-plastic 5-inch body. Glistening emerald tone finish. Powerful, optically ground double lens. You get the famous atomic particle slide. Examine it in the dark through your Space Patrol microscope, and it looks like a wild, flaming comet. You get a set of 5 transparent slides for mounting specimens. Each slide is 2 inches long, clear as crystal, made to wear and wear and wear. A miracle of invention, the Space Patrol microscope. You just take something small, a blade of grass, a piece of string, a bud, place it on one of the crystal clear slides, slip it under the lens tube, and you can see that object magnified 15 times its actual size. You see details that leave you gasping, that set your mind spinning and your pulse beating. You see the living creatures in a drop of water, the designs of fingerprints, like whirlpools in a furious cataract. and a mere splinter, it looks like a giant sword. It's fun, mystifying, educational magic. So hurry, send for your Space Patrol microscope kit today. Hurry, because this big offer soon comes to an end. Just buy a box of rice checks or wheat checks. Then with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and a rice check or wheat check box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are attempting to rescue a girl who is being held captive in a metal factory in space in the orbit of Jupiter Moon number 2. They have just entered the cargo hold of the plant and erased the face pieces of their spacesuits.
Commander, someone's coming. I can see them through the door at the other end of the cargo hold.
George, I'll do your gunletter.
Yes, sir. Commander, I can't move. Something's holding my feet.
Someone's running a magnetic force field, holding our metal spacesuits. Get out of your suit. Hurry.
Commander, look up above. The cargo crane is coming down on us with an Endurium beam on it.
We've got to get out of these suits. There's a magnetic field under us. That beam could crush us.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, Peril Over Jupiter, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson again present Space Patrol. Special bulletin for boys and girls in Youngstown, Ohio, and Albany, New York. Buzz Corey's own space battle cruiser, the Ralston Rocket, will be in your area next week. Don't miss it. The Ralston Rocket. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Bela Kobach, Joe Cranston, and Ken Mayer. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson again present Space Patrol. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.